racism exist?
Absolutely not. What's wrong with the blacks?
Stop! Jesus!
You've acted black, you hung out with them, you know what they're like now, you know what it feels like to be black. What's wrong with the blacks?
Dude, I can't answer. Come on, that question is like you're gonna you're put me in a weird position. That's because just because you said that, I'm gonna get associated.
What do you mean?
I don't think there's anything wrong. I mean, people have problems in all different races. You can't just single out a race.
Oh, you can't?
No.
And why not?
Because then it'll come off as racist.
But there's no such thing as racist. It doesn't exist.
How? I do agree that when people say they're not racist, they're more racist, but you don't think racism exists?
It has never existed. It's impossible to exist.
Okay.
It's just a made-up word.
So, you don't think there's people that don't like somebody literally for their race? You don't think in the human evolution of history, Jesse, there hasn't been someone that goes, I don't like that. Because
Right, but that's not racist though.
What is that?
Hatred. Our battle is a spiritual battle. It's either good or hate. You're either good or you're of evil. And anyone that hate one another is of evil.
So it's hatriotism.
It's evil, yeah. It's not racist, it's evil. And we got to call it what it is so that people can understand it, overcome it. But if you try to overcome something called racist that doesn't exist, how can you overcome that? But if you say it's evil, then you say, oh yeah, that is evil to hate your fellow man.
Can I adjust what you're saying? Because I hope you're doing what I think you're doing. How can I do this? How to do this properly? I think you signed the affidavit before, so you're screwed. I know that game. So what you're saying is, if you focus on hatred, then you say, there's this hatriotism.
Yes.
Let's wipe that out instead of delineating. Because I'm always trying to say I'm a human being first. Let's wipe that out. I don't like race identity or gender ideology or race ideology. I just like people.
Right.
And I think it does separate us. So, I mean, but how does that theory go over with people?
Well, the people that love using racism as a means of gaining something from it, so-called power or wealth, they don't want to hear it. But those who are trying to overcome it, they realize that their heart needs to be changed from anger to love. They're like, oh, that makes sense. So they stop hating. They forgive and stop hating.
I'm trying to work on a bit about this. It's a very delicate subject about the thought process of the only way we're ever going to evolve as a human race is kind of have to, I can't say this, forget things and move on.
And the only way you're going to forget, you got to forgive.
Yes.
If you don't forgive, you never will forget.
Yes.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes. So I mean, it's not for me to speak because I'm white, so, I'm the most privileged.
It's not for you to speak what?
Well, it's a dicey subject, right? Like, I'm a white male, that's like they say. On the oppression matrix, I'm like the guy that's holding everybody down.
You also know what it is to be black, because in that movie, you were black. You were black.
Acting.
No,
Acting.
But it had to... Went home for dinner, went home after the taping, you had dinner, you had ham hocks, cornbread, candy yam, and green. You were so black.
No, I didn't, but I do fuck with that.
See?
Yes, I do like the soul food plate.
That's what happens when you hang around with the blacks.
Stop it.
What?
Stop it. Just chill. Here's the thing is that the race thing is fascinating though, because listen, there are, I don't know, I hope you're right, but there are people that will say that no, but I understand what you're saying. Hatred is hatred.
Right? God said our battle is not physical, it's spiritual. There's a warfare between good and evil, principalities and wickedness in high places. So it's not physical at all, it's spiritual.
But people now there's even more. There's racism. There's genderism.
Because it pays off.
But now we're so at each other's throats in society. People have a laundry list of issues with one another, not just one. So it's just gonna be until we explode, right?
You don't need to be a part of it.
I try not to be. I try to be like, oh, that's why I'm here, because I know how controversial you are.
Oh, you do?
Yes, but I also believe that
Check.
Back in the day, Phil Donahue so we talk about it. Like, you know what I mean? The minute you rip out a man's tongue, what's that proverb? Yeah, like everyone should be able to talk. Obviously, we don't want hate speech, but
no such thing as hate speech either.
Oh, that's gonna ruffle a couple people up in Berkeley the wrong way. Why? There is hate. Well, you can say it's hatred in the heart.
It's hatred in the heart.
Check.
Check. Hello. Mike check. Mic check 1 2. Check. Does that mean my hearing's back? Check. Hello. What? Check. Hello. Mic check 1 2. Hello. Check. Check. Hello. Check, check, check. Hello. Check. Oh, shoot. Did it make me go live already? Am I live already? Whoops. Huh. Why did it do that? See, sometimes it just, when I hit. Okay, we're not supposed to be live right now. I just noticed that I'm live. My bad. My bad, y'all. I did not hit go live. I hit go live on OBS, and then you're supposed to also hit go live on YouTube, but I hit go live on OBS and it made me live on YouTube. What the? So I guess we're live already here. What's up? Emmett. Nothing like telling a black person racism doesn't exist on a Tuesday. Let's go. All right. Martae's a based black guy, though. But he's not quite based enough. He's not quite there yet. We're going to get him there. The true answer is not to play this game at all. Okay? You shut it down. You say, it's not real. Here's why. And that's what I'm about to show you. Why racism is not real. Well, that's not really what the topic is. The topic actually assumes that it is real. So it's real. It's just not actually racism. It's something different. All right, I'm going to go pee real quick. Red leather, red leather, red leather, red leather, red leather, red leather. Get some tissue just in case. All right. Where'd my pen go? Oh, whoo. I need a new notebook. I don't have a lot of pages left for notes in my notebook.
Oh, why'd it put me up here? Oh, there we go. What up, what up?
What up?
Oh, just setting up the last minute things here. I was just finishing dinner there, so.
Nice.
Yeah. Did you see I changed the thumbnail? Look at the new thumbnail. I just did that real quick, too.
You grabbed a picture of me with the jacket? Nice.
Yeah. I was like, oh shit, he's got a fucking jacket on, and Martae's got a jacket on in his picture. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's funny. I just heard you say you didn't know you were live too, because so that first part, I was thinking in my head, it's like he's posing for a picture right now. It's perfect. Didn't even know you were live.
Now, sometimes when I hit go live on OBS, usually I hit go live on OBS and then the little bubble pops up on YouTube and I click that to go live on YouTube. But sometimes I hit go live on OBS and it automatically starts the YouTube stream.
That's weird that it does that for you, because when I streamed from OBS to you, straight from OBS to YouTube, I never had to push anything on YouTube. I would always just do it on OBS. That's weird that it does that to you.
Yeah, it's always been that way. I hit start streaming. Well, Yeah, I hit start streaming and then it says manage your stream. You pick which one you want, you pick it, and then it like gets it ready, and then you see the video pop up in YouTube, but then you still have to hit go live on YouTube.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Maybe it's how they do it now. I haven't used OBS to YouTube for a while now, so could just be different now. Just set this up too. Jesus. Lights all fucked up. I was having like, oh shit, that's not right. There we go. I was having like issues with my computer and couldn't figure it out. So I like went through and deleted a bunch of shit that I didn't need because I was thinking maybe it was just taking up too much room. And then I realized that my fucking computer had an update from mad time ago that I just never did. So that's probably why nothing was fucking updating, nothing was opening properly. Shit was fucking running slow. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Now everything feels smooth again.
Yeah, I push my updates off forever.
Yeah, me too. I don't want to do them. Did you hear from Martae today?
No, I asked him for a picture 2 days ago, and he answered pretty quick. So
Yeah, I'm used to him answering, fairly quickly, but
and on Sunday he came in my stream and he was like, "Hey, just want to wish you luck on the debate." So it sounds like
okay.
he's ready to.
Maybe he's just running behind or something then. Let me look at Discord has the little green bubble, so he should be active. I didn't even check YouTube to see if he was streaming. Let me see. I know, yes, it's scheduled because I've seen that. Oh, yeah, he's live. Oh, looks like he's just started it. So, yeah, he should be here any minute. No worries. Actually, that's perfect because I just realized I gotta put both your links in the description as well. I thought I did that already, but apparently not. Where is it? Oh yeah, and for the other debate, I don't know if you got my message. First Amender, you good with that? You said
about the Venezuela stuff.
Yeah.
Could we do it like 2 weeks from now?
Yeah, the date I said, maybe it should be about 2 weeks. Let me see. Where is it? January 21st. So I think that's exactly about 2 weeks.
Is it a Tuesday?
I believe so, yes. Let me make sure. On Wednesday.
Okay. So it's nice. Yeah, that's fine.
Word. Yeah, he said someone far left, and I was like, oh, I should just get him Ender. He'd probably be against, and he answered right away. Yeah, I'm definitely 100% against that.
Yeah, and kind of like encompassing all the with the boats, the drug boats leading up to the capture and all that.
Oh yeah, I know he's gonna be against all of it. That's why I was like, yeah, I should message him. And I put that prompt out to a few other people too, because I feel like that prompt I might be able to get a few different takes out of it. Maybe get a 2v2 going on a different one.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about political debates is there's always going to be a new current event.
Oh yeah. They've basically fucking turned themselves into a soap opera at this point.
Yep.
Perfect. Links are in. All right. Bet. Yeah, this should be a good one. At first, Martae was like, oh, I thought it was that racists don't exist. And I was like, well, that's the same. I'm saying the same thing, just in more words, so it sounds a little more professional.
Wait, like recently he said this, or when you first sent him the topic?
Yeah, when I sent him like the prompt.
Okay, but so
And then
he's had enough time to think about the way you worded it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think it still ends up getting back to
It's not what he's like. He said something like, "I thought we said it's racist don't exist, but I accept because that's basically the same thing." And I was like, "Yeah, it's the same thing. I just wanted to make it sound a little more, just racists don't exist. I wanted it to be more, catchy."
And eventually, at the root of it, it gets back down to my original claim anyway, that racism doesn't exist. So
Right.
racism, racist, even, well, we'll probably be arguing about this, but even race to some degree doesn't even make sense. But that's kind of where I'll be going with it.
That's what's up. I like it. And Trench hasn't answered me back for the because he was supposed to do Christianity versus Islam with Minar. And Trench hasn't answered me back yet. If he doesn't end up answering me back, do you want to do that against Minar?
I'd rather like it to be something more specific. Like I would say Islam is the most violent religion, or Christians are the most persecuted people. Because he would say Muslims are, and I would say Christians have been more persecuted throughout history.
Okay.
Something more specific like that. Yeah, or I could do Islam is the most violent, or Islam is more violent than Christianity, or however you want to word it. But
Okay.
instead of just Islam versus Christianity.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say like I say it like that, but I was thinking like along the lines of like Christianity is better for society than Islam, or
That would be
the other
good.
way around,
Yeah, that would be good, because then I
then you
then I
can
would
kind of
still go
like get
into
into
the
anywhere you want with it.
yeah.
All right. Oh yeah, I didn't reset my dono goal. What am I doing?
Yeah, because I wouldn't make it a Quran versus Bible thing where we're going
Yeah,
back.
no, yeah, exactly.
I would say let's look at the prophet, let's look at the people.
Right. Oh, that makes sense. You know what you got to do now? Let me see, how many minutes are we past? 5. You got to give Martae shit for being late, like he gave Amanda shit for being late. Remember?
Marte's late. E black.
Shit. He's gonna do that just to say, yeah. See, I was just fitting the stereotypes.
Yep.
Or maybe it's a trap. Don't bring it up, because then he'll say, see,
that's racist.
Racism exists. Shit. It's a trap. Don't fall for it. Shit, that's good. Imagine. I could see that being something he does too. Just hoping that you'll call it out so he can say, see, even my opponent is using racism as we speak.
I'd say that's not racism. If I fire you for being late every day and you're black.
Oh, shit.
That don't make you racist. I'm gonna go refill my coffee.
Yes, sir. Hey, there he is.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Yes, sir. We hear you good.
Santana's back to business. Let's go. Isn't that how the lyric go? Let's at least be lyrically accurate here. Oh, Speakeasy doesn't listen to hip hop today. That's good. That's good. We can just keep moving forward with that. That's fine.
No, sorry. I was reading at the same time as you talking, so I totally, my brain went.
Aren't lyrics read?
Yes, but I was
What the
reading
hell?
something else as you were talking.
How are you taking L's before this debate happens?
up.
You're not even the debate. You know what? Skip that. Let's get right back to the debate. Pleased to meet you, JS Adventure. You got some cojones on you tonight. I'll say that. And at least I respect you for that. So you got us. You look pretty dapper, mind you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I made
got the jacket out.
I made sure to emulate black culture by showing up on Black People Time and also wearing a chain.
Yep.
And also, I was eating some fried chicken too, because of course, you know, I'm black. That's why all of us love fried chicken. So because it doesn't exist, mind you, right? So, anyways, let's move forward.
I mean, who doesn't like fried chicken?
Fried chicken, hey, and grape drink is delicious. Watermelon is to die for.
I think serial killers are the only ones who don't like fried chicken.
Man, if you don't like fried chicken,
something wrong.
I'm gonna be saying that you're not a racist like this guy is. I mean, he might make me switch sides, but that's
never know.
Not probably gonna happen. So let's go.
All right, I'm just getting these timers. I thought I had these tabs open already, but when
you're live on my end, by the way, my whole crew can see you.
No worries.
By the way, I just accepted a debate with dumbass Dusty, so I guess that's going to either happen on Modern Day Debate or Cool Vic's channel. Fucking hate this guy.
About what?
He's saying, well, the debate is that debate doesn't move the needle on culture.
Yeah, this is...
Yeah, good luck, Dusty. I wish...
Such a stupid topic, actually. He's such an idiot. He proposed that.
He like walked into his own destruction.
Did he propose that?
Hey, Speakeasy, hold on real quick. If I can give you some grace, would you stop the enemy from self-deleting themselves?
Would I stop the enemy?
In the middle of self-deleting themselves, would you stop them from doing this?
And I was there and I could do it? And it was the enemy? Yeah, I'd probably...
Your whole enemy, would you stop them?
It would depend on like what they were my enemy for, probably. But yeah, I'd probably...
Worst things you could ever imagine. Just follow the hypothetical.
As much as I, so
you're gonna be
I think I'd be weak. I think
dinner
I'm
tonight.
gonna be honest with you. I think I'd be weak if it was my enemy and just be like, all right, fuck it. But the right thing to do would be to stop that. Right.
Oh, okay. So you wouldn't be a part of the Crusades. Got it. Okay. You're not invited to the Crusades when the Muslims invade. That's fine.
Well, that's different.
I got you. No, hold on. No, you chose your side.
That's different.
Crusades
is a
chose it, you
way
stuck
different
it.
thing. That's not stopping people from...
no, hold on real quick. Nope, you said it. Because it's self-deletion if you threaten my country and family and kids and culture. But you know what? You chose your side. I know where you're at, Dusty. That's fine.
That's a little different.
Away, by the way. Go ahead.
Good trap, though. It was a good trap.
Next subject.
Anyways, okay. So I got this already. So you both have done this before, so you guys know how this goes. Also, I might as well just ask you both now, and then I don't have to ask you at the end. Do you guys plan to stay for the after panel?
I can only stay till like 9:15 my time, so.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I'll stay. I know it's going to be a trash fire because I don't want to say dumpster because it sounds like a potato. It's going to be a trash bandit fire, and I'm going to be the trash raccoon. Hold on, JS. I'm going to be the trash raccoon that shows up. Oh, that's not bad, by the way.
I don't know. I don't think you're going to end up talking about this in the after panel because most people aren't going to take my side.
Oh, you already know that you're in your villain arc on this debate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've argued about this with people for many, many hours on panels. And
can I be honest with you?
There we go.
Yeah.
Since it's just us and my 50 million subscribers, no, I'm just playing. Since it's just me and my subscribers, I'll be honest, just between you and me, JS.
I'm live
the pure
too.
reason why I took this isn't because I got butthurt because I lost the debate. It's because actually Speakeasy had mentioned that you had debated this and practiced this debate several times. That's what got me into this debate.
Yeah. This was the second debate I ever did, like 3 years ago. I did it with a gay black guy. And it was pretty much just him insulting me, saying I'm not educated. All my sources are Wikipedia, the whole debate.
Oh, that guy's ignorant. Well, you're against all of that. That's anti whatever he was. I'm the total opposite. Because I'm not supporting black culture, so you can say that I'm black adjacent, maybe because I'm black. That's about it.
I'm black adjacent. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So, and I'm straight as hell. So let's get that straight.
All right.
Rumors.
So let me see here. Got this already. Okay, so we're gonna get it started. I'll do the intro is gonna run there for like 3 minutes with my disclaimer and intro music, all that. And then I'll introduce the show, introduce you guys in the prompt, and then JS. Oh, I got to do the for and against here. So JS, you're on the affirmative side, so you're gonna go first for opening. Mm-hmm. And then when we do closings, you're gonna go first again, so that will give Martae the final word for closing statements.
I do want to say it's funny because he's supporting that racists don't exist when he's on the affirmative side, when affirmative action has affirmative before it. Anyways, that's just a very good coincidence, but moving forward, I'm against.
It's all affirmative action. That's what we're doing here.
Once again, I'm representing the anti-black side, like the counterpoints debate. This is a total role reversal. The black guy should be on that side. Like this is a radical debate too. But anyways,
that's how we do it. All right, guys, I'm going to get this started up, and thank you both for coming, and let's rock and roll.
Warning. The information shared in these conversations and videos are intended for general knowledge and entertainment purposes only. It should not be considered as legal advice or professional guidance. Additionally, videos, any documentation or references to specific content are solely for the purpose of discussion and understanding. It does not imply endorsement, promotion, or support of said content. The views expressed in these videos and or conversation are those of the individuals involved and do not represent any official stance or opinion. The content you are about to experience may contain strong language, including explicit words and phrases. This language is used for artistic expression and may be integral to the storyline or character development. It is important to note that the use of such language does not endorse or promote offensive behavior. Viewer discretion is advised, and please enjoy the show responsibly. Disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes of racism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. The Canadian Copyright Act, Section 29, allows an individual to use copyright-protected materials when creating a new work, such as a mashup, and to post the new work online on a site like YouTube. Fair dealing provision for specific purposes like research, private study, education, parody, satire, criticism, review, and news reporting.
Step up, step up! Yeah! We pledge! We pledge! We pledge! We pledge! Yeah! Step in the arena, mind locked and loaded. Truth on my blade, every line's exploded. You swing your words, I counter with precision. Battle of reason, this is my mission. Raise your fist, let them know. No. Raise your voice, let it blow. Woo! We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreat. Yeah. No fear, no chain, no treason. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreat. Yeah. No fear, no chain, no treason. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. Step back, I'm a scholar and a fighter. Every claim you throw, I strike tighter. Logic and power, I never fold. In the war of words, I'm solid gold. Raise your fist, let them know. Whoa. Raise your voice, let it blow. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreat. Yeah. No fear, no chain, no treason. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreat. Yeah. No fear, no chain, no treason. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. Every thought a fortress, every claim a storm. We forge a truth where chaos takes form. Ideas ignite like lightning through the night. In the war of minds, we bring the light. Step in, feel the heat. Truth is my weapon, never beat. Raise them high, break the ceiling. With a fire, with a feeling, we clash our swords of reason. Cut through lies, no retreating. No fear, no chain, no treason. We clash our swords of reason. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through lies, no retreating. No fear, no chain, no treason. We clash our swords of reason. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through lies, no retreating. No fear, no chain, no treason. We clash our swords of reason.
Okay, let's bring it back up.
Welcome everybody to Swords of Reason right here on the Speakeasy Show, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. This is where logic meets passion. If you're new here, the format is simple. Each debater gets 10 minutes for their opening statement, followed by a 5-minute uninterrupted rebuttal. After that, we enter the arena for a full hour of back and forth debate. This is where the arguments clash and the iron can sharpen the iron. And finally, each side will deliver a 5-minute closing statement to lock in their case. When that's done, we move into a 30-minute Q&A. I've actually dropped the live Q&A in the chat there. But keep in mind that super chats, PayPals, and Cash Apps do get priority. So if those fill up the entire 30 minutes, the free chat questions may not get answered. So if there's something you want guaranteed to be asked, make sure you send it through one of the priority options. And once the formal debate wraps up, we open the doors for the Chaos and Chill panel. This is where the community can hop in, challenge the debaters, ask follow-ups if the debaters choose to stick around, because that part is optional for them. But it's always where things get wild regardless. All right. Today's debate prompt: what we call racism is really other forms of hatred, not race-based hatred. And on the affirmative tonight, we have jsurbanadventures, a lifestyle streaming channel known for showcasing a wide range of hobbies and interests, breaking down hot news, sharing political, philosophical, and theological views. And he's also recognized for his UFC fight reviews, spot on character impersonations, and what many call the coolest Bible study on YouTube. And you can find his channel in the description below. And for the negative, we have Martae Ruelas, a professional bodybuilder known for his pop culture commentary, political debates, and openly documenting his walk with God. You can also find his channel linked in the description below. So we are going to start with the affirmative on this one. So JS, whenever you're ready, I will start the timer up with your voice. And again, thank you both for being here tonight.
All right. I'm excited, ladies and gentlemen. Arguing against racism and the idea of racists with black guys is one of my favorite debates. Tonight's debate is basically a debate about words. Words have power, and some should be removed from our lexicon. And my position is racism or racist is one of those words. It represents an idea that doesn't exist outside of the minds of people who believe in it. In this debate, I will prove that there is no consistent definition of racism and that it is an arbitrary and subjective metric that constantly changes from person to person or place to place. Another important word we need to understand in this debate is hate and forms of hate. So let's start there. I will be posing a typology for hate as presented by Ingrid Varel-Ferran in his paper titled Hate Towards a Four-Type Model. Ferran argues for 4 types of hate in this model, these being normative, ideological, retributive, and malicious. I agree with this model and will be focusing on the ideological form for the sake of this debate. Here's the scenario to explain this type of hate in relation to so-called racism. Bob says he hates black people because he believes they are all criminals. Bob's focus of hate here is indeterminate. It is not individual-based, but rather group-based. Bob's focus of hate here, or Bob's hate has been formed by in-group socialization or ideas he has learned through family, friends, coworkers, neighbors, etc. Bob has read studies and heard talking points and seen news articles and reports supporting his ideas, but may or may not have ever personally known or even met a black person. Bob has developed a prejudice that he projects onto the target of his hate. This scenario would typically be called racism, by those who have fallen prey to leftist ideology rather than logic. Bob doesn't actually hate a race, he hates crime. So why don't we call this criminalism? I can't even say it, criminalism. If this sounds dumb to you, just know that it's just as dumb as thinking racism is a form of hate. Now I will demonstrate more in depth why race or racism cannot be consistently defined or held as some sort of belief or ism, much less defended as a form of hate. Race could be based on skin color, ethnicity, nationality, culture, and in some cases even religion. Most definitions will understand race to be a social construct which categorizes people based on physical traits or phenotypes or ancestry, which implies race could be based on genetics or family lineage. Many definitions of race or racism will also call attention to hierarchical implications or power dynamics. The standard method of determining race for data collection in the US Census and most race-based studies and surveys is self-identified race and ethnicity. The U.S. Office of Personnel Management's Guide to Personnel Data Standards on Ethnicity and Race Identification has the following options: Hispanic or Latino, American Indian or Alaskan Native, Asian, so I suppose a white Russian would be considered Asian, Black or African American, Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, and white, which the form states includes Middle Eastern or North African descent, meaning an Iraqi Muslim or an Egyptian are white. So let's take another moment to examine this. What does this document mean by Hispanic? Is this a race including the people of Latin American descent, or is Hispanic related to the people, speech, or culture of Spain? Spain is in Europe, and some Spanish people are considered Caucasian, which is people from the Caucasus Mountains, which border Europe and Asia, hence Caucasian. Your skin could be white, brown, or black, and you could have roots in Europe or South America and be considered Hispanic. An American Indian may consider themselves American or Indian, which has nothing to do with India, or maybe mestizo, which is indigenous in Spanish, which would be a European, Caucasian, Latin, Native American. Please make sense of which race that is. You could have olive skin and be from Turkey, but according to race identification forms, you would be in the category of white. Someone could be of Jamaican Canadian descent, but call themselves an African American. Black could be African, American, European, or Canadian with any multitude of cultural and genetic backgrounds. As far as religion, some people would consider Jewish or Muslim to be a race. Regardless of what country they are from or phenotypes they present, their religion is their race. These are just some examples of the inconsistencies in the idea of race or racism. But before I move on to the last part of my opening, I want to explain a little bit about the history behind the word and the concept. According to modern sources, the concept of racism started with white Christian Europeans in the late 1500s to early 1600s who would travel to Africa to capture slaves, participate in the transatlantic slave trade, and use the Bible to justify slavery. This is the story Google will tell you, but I believe this is a pile of revisionist crap. One thing we do actually know about the word racism is that its first recorded use in America was by Army officer Richard Henry Pratt in 1902 when he used racialism, but eventually just said racism to describe racial segregation in America. So he's saying racial segregation is racist. Richard Henry Pratt was also the founder of the notorious Carlisle School, which was accused of kidnapping and even murdering hundreds of indigenous children to force assimilation. Pratt was remembered for the quote, "Kill the Indian, save the man." So the guy who started using the word that was later harnessed by the left, Marxists, and race hustlers like Martin Luther King, Jesse Jackson, and Al Sharpton, and many other liberal-minded civil rights operatives, that guy who made that word was openly racist. Now that we have some definitions or lack thereof, I'll finish by just running through my three main arguments against the idea that racism can actually be a form of hate rooted in reality. If we must divide hate into different forms, I would pose that what we call racism is actually idealism. My first reason for pushing this paradigm is a philosophical argument for the typology of hate that doesn't include racism as a form or type, but encompasses it under an ideological category of hate. This is a broader form of hate, but I believe when hate and evil are divided and categorized so specifically, the words lose meaning and the labels can be used as weapons against the masses. Therefore, I will argue that idealism is a better, more accurate understanding of so-called racist hate. The second argument is logic-based, resting on the convoluted nature of the words race or racism and the inability to coherently and consistently define them. Depending on what definition I use, everyone or no one can be racist. It just doesn't make sense. My third and final argument is a spiritual-based or metaphysical argument. And to explain it, I'm going to drop a little Bible verse. We don't need to do Bible thumping or argue about divine mysteries, but regardless what the proper exegesis of this verse is, just think about it as a deep quote from a great man named Paul. Ephesians 6:12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. I actually don't think there are any forms of hate, but for the sake of debate, and in order to combat this worldly lie of racism, I'll use worldly ideas as the basis for all ideological hate. In some situations, so-called racism could be malicious hate, but that's usually just reactionary. So I'm going to lean away from that idea. I will argue all of these ideas, but I know that hate is truly of the spirit and it's colorblind. Our spirit affects our brain affects our words and thoughts and actions. We ought not label that spirit racism because it's a misnomer and we need to call our demons out by name in order to overcome them. Words like racism put some in fear of being called racist. It victimizes others by giving them an excuse to fail. And this word is weaponized by the children of Satan to divide, destabilize, and destroy. Speaking of spirits, I hope we have a spirited debate. Thanks again, Martae and Easy, and I'll drop the mic.
All right. Thank you for that opening statement, JS. And with that, we are going to hand the mic over to Martae for your opening statement. Martae, whenever you are ready, I will start the timer up with your voice.
Speakeasy, did you get the video I sent you? Should be a video in there.
Oh, yes, I see there's one there in the back. Yeah, you want me to present that for you?
Pops up, I want to address his opening statement. Funny, he kind of contradicts himself.
Just tell me when you want me to play it then, okay?
Yeah, I'll tell you when
Okay.
You can start the timer right now, matter of fact. So my opponent in his opening statement talks about tribalism, which really that's definitionally xenophobia. We're going to go away from that because he tried to muddy the waters and say, well, it's such a broad term. He also contradicts himself in his opening statement and said, I don't believe in racism. It doesn't have a name, but also I don't believe that hate is a thing also at the same time too. Thus, we can't label this thing anything, even though I don't believe this exists. In summation, that's really what I got from this. And then it's a little bit of obfuscation. Gave a Bible verse, pretty base, by the way, but doesn't contend with the argument. Speakeasy, we're about to play some legendary words from somebody who I revere, who has, God rest his soul, passed. This is the definition of racist. And in the video, I'm going to demonstrate some forms of this. You can play the video now.
All right.
A discrimination against a minority class of people in order to create an imbalance in the society or a hierarchy based on something that is undetermined as of color, race, the color of your skin, or maybe even color of your skin.
Can you be racist against Asians?
Yes.
Can you be racist against white people?
I believe that you can have prejudice against white people.
If a group of black individuals, which happens unfortunately so often, say, we want to go beat up whitey, and they go beat up a white person, was that a racist thing that they did?
I would have to ask for further context, but yes. Based off of that,
cool.
Yes.
So, but then let's go back to your definition, because your definition was that it had to be the exercise of power. I'm going to make your definition better for you, because the exercise of power against a minority group.
Yes.
But in that case, it wouldn't be, because it would be a group of black individuals versus a white individual.
Correct.
So wouldn't a better definition of racism be a human being or institution prejudicing or stereotyping against anybody else because of their race?
I have had 80% more negative experience with the African American community in this country than with white people. That being said, doesn't mean I haven't had good experiences with African American people. I have met a lot of great African American people, and I still friends with them because they're good, decent people. But that's the 20% of the people I have met, the African Americans. The other 80%, they're being nasty, they're being rude, they're being problematic, you know, always trying to fight, always disrespecting. So why would I want to be around people like that? No. So I understand where Nick Fuentes is coming from. Also about what Nick Fuentes says that everybody has a little bit of racism on them. I agree. I am Cuban, and sometimes I feel I am racist against my own people because we have our own personality, our own culture that a lot of other people don't like. I learned how to be an American. So right now, I'm not even similar to my own race. So that's why sometimes I don't like to be around them.
I am racist.
I am racist. I am racist.
Mm-hmm. And you are a nigger.
You are racist. Your body makes you a better person.
Are you recording?
I'm gonna record you. Yes.
Do you want me to throw water on you? I am racist.
Idiot, for
and
real.
you are a nigger.
You are an idiot. No, I'm not.
I am racist, and I'll say that to the whole entire world. Don't be disrespectful.
You ruined your life, by the way.
Oh, you talking about respect? You talking about respect? You are fired from this place, motherfucker. You're not gonna be working here.
Suck it.
Suck what? Look how you
Suck
fucking look
it.
like.
What's wrong with you?
What the fuck is wrong with you, you fucking ugly bitch? Get the fuck out of
Ugly?
my face.
Talking about ugliness?
Did I stutter?
You're the ugliest person I ever seen in my life.
Good.
Fuck.
Your fucking
No, we're
face
not.
for
No,
what?
we're not. No, we're not.
Because you know damn well you're a
That's
fucking
respect.
evil
That's
fuck.
respect. Keep squeezing that caramel, bitch. Get the fuck out of here.
A few moments
Yeah, I am
later.
racist.
Yeah, I am racist. Yeah, I am racist.
Are you serious? Or 100%. So you just don't like white people as a whole? No. I don't. Should we be judging people based on the content of their character and not the color of their skin? No, you need the color of skin is very important. The reason why I'm asking this question is because there's a recent poll that was released, and it asked that question: do you agree or disagree with that statement? It is okay to be white? Only 53% of Black Americans said yes to that poll. Does that surprise you or no? No. Black people are really racist. Is that okay? Yeah.
Okay, you can stop the video right now. Oh, that's got to sting a little bit. But let me get back to my intro real quick. We're going to take a little trip down to hypothetical alternate universe called Harmonitopia, where every sensible person insists racism is a liberal conspiracy dreamed up by those hook-nosed J bankers controlling the media. The population struts around like they're colorblind saints while spewing the vilest shit imaginable. They host equality festivals where the crowd scream racist or fake news, unity for all, while jsurbanadventures is in this group, except for those dirty N-word savages who belong in chains. Chad, the redneck bursting into a diner, eyeing the Latino waiter and barking, "Hurry up with my burger, you wetback beaner spick." But don't you dare label me a racist. That's just your taco munching inferiority complex talking, you border jumping parasite. The waiter, just as batshit, fires back, "Right away, you inbred hillbilly cracker F slur. Extra spit for flavor, but hey, racism's just a hoax peddled by those chink virus spreaders. Oops, slipped, but can't be real if it doesn't exist, right? JS Adventures. Welcome to Harmonitopia, a proud nation founded by one sacred principle. If something isn't physical, measurable, and universally defined, it isn't real. The people of Harmonitopia are very logical, extremely logical, painfully logical. In Harmonitopia, racism doesn't exist because you can't touch it, weigh it, or agree on a single definition like you did your opening statement. Soon after, the courts realized something awkward. A judge stood up and said, "Justice isn't real either. There's no universal standard. Different cultures disagree. Therefore, fiction." So courts stayed open, but only to measure things like height, weight, carbon output. If somebody complained, the judge would have shrugged and said, "Shut up, you darky N-word. Justice isn't real." If it was you, you would have had a universal standard for it, like JS Adventures in his opening statement. Then somebody brought up discrimination. The council responded, "Unequal treatment exists, sure, but saying it's wrong requires the moral framework, and those aren't real. Case dismissed." Education, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Textbooks just glorify noble separations, like how the Austrian painter was just a misunderstood painter promoting Aryan hygiene, teaching kids that those raghead camel fuckers are all bomb-strapped terrorists. But that's not racism. It's geopolitical awareness. Since racism people are just unicorn myths, little Susie runs home yelling, Mom, today we dissected how gooks are all dog-eating zipper heads stealing our tech jobs. Mom, with her schmostica tattoo, picking out, hugs her and says, good girl, now invite the packy girl over. But if that curry stinking dot head tries to haggle at tag sale, I'll deport this goat fucking family myself. Pure love here. No hate, JS Adventures, right? Political campaigns on deport the kikes and N-words act purely for national purity, not racism, which isn't real. The leader, a based orange president with hair like white purist, posts, these shit-skinned Mexicans are graping our daughters and flooding us with fentanyl. Build the wall, keep out the bourbon. Heil, USA. Ask all my white cabinet, you filthy mud people. At Thanksgiving, Aunt Carrot rages about the slant-eyed Jap bastards nuking Pearl Harbor vibes all over again. Then carves the turkey. Pass the stuffing, you porch monkey coon. Inclusivity rules. No halal for you, Dune coon jihadist. Here's my question, JS Urban Adventures. If Harmonitopia is truly racism free, then who's the fucker lynching those uppity darkies, redefining spick ghettos and passing laws to sterilize inferior mongoloid races while whining it's just science, not bias? Their nonstop denial is a smoking gun. Every racist doesn't exist, followed by die you kike oven dodger, conjures a racist from the ether. It's a self-fulfilling clusterfuck. They're louder. The more they deny this, it's just louder. The more they prove that hate-spewing bigots spiraling into a cosmic circle jerk-off irony of where the world collapses under their own weight of their own cum-stained hypocrisy, exploding into a fireball of slurs and swastikas. So back to this. In your opening statement, I don't think I really got a clear definition because you try to muddy the waters. Charlie Kirk, may he rest in peace, gave you the real definition, and I can read it back verbatim if you'd like that. That is the working definition that I'm working on, and I think that's universally accepted. We can stick to that. You could throw out the tribalism because all that is just xenophobia. We'll get away from that. So now that that point's demolished, let's continue on this debate, and I'm done with my banter. Let's get to the argument, Speakeasy.
All right. Well, thank you for that opening statement, Martae. With that, we are going to roll over to the 5-minute uninterrupted rebuttal. So we're going to hand the mic back to JS. And JS, whenever you're ready, I will start the timer up with your voice.
Well, that was interesting. Okay, so one of the first things
you don't like the self-identification, you're going to deny what
uninterrupted, Martae. Uninterrupted, Martae.
Go ahead.
I'll get to it. One of the first things you said is that I had laid out a contradiction because I said I don't actually believe in forms of hate. But for the sake of the debate, the topic presupposes that there are forms of hate. So I'm proposing an alternate form of hate rather than racism, xenophobia, tribalism, anti-Semitism, which is basically different words to describe all the things that you just laid out. Like, you basically just pointed to a bunch of slurs and mean words and people who are self-identified racism. You can go to a pride parade and see people who do puppy play who self-identify as dogs. Does that mean they're dogs? Just because people say hateful, mean words. One of the examples you gave, you played a video of a girl. She said the N-word. Right after she said the N-word, the guy called her a motherfucker. Is he doing incestism? Is he incestus? He hates incestual people because he called her a motherfucker. No, these are just words we say. When we're angry, our hate comes out and we express it in words. I could call you a fat ass. It doesn't mean I hate all fat. I'm not saying you're fat, but if somebody's fat and I call them a fat ass, it's just saying a hateful thing to hurt their feelings. And these are demons that present themselves. It's a spiritual thing. It's not a physical thing. It's ideas. It comes from our mind. It comes from preconditions, how we were raised, how we were brought up. We learn these things. It's not something we're born inherently with. When you're talking about racism and justice, just because one thing isn't real doesn't mean another thing isn't real. So I would argue justice is a transcendental. If there were no minds on earth, God is the ultimate mind, there would still be justice, there would still be math, there would still be beauty, these transcendentals. You would have to argue racism is a transcendental, that God created race, like it's inherent in God's nature, this idea of racism. And I'm not going to throw out words like xenophobia and tribalism, because that's part of my argument, is that whatever you call racism, it could be called something different. If it's skin color, if it's just skin color, then it's colorism. If it's just what nation you're from or your ethnicity, then it is xenophobia. It's not racism. I argue all these words are dumb words that the left uses to control people, and we rather call it what it is. Don't call things be not as it were. Call it what it is so that we can defeat this idea. I think you're trying to be like the based conservative token black guy, and you're so close, Martae. You're so close. I see what you're doing over there on your channel, and I like it, but you're so close. The way we defeat this idea is by not giving it any light. You just say it's not real. It's not a real thing. It doesn't exist. You're right. You can't taste it, touch it, smell it, weigh it. So are you arguing that it's transcendental, that it's of God? Because it's not. Hate is a real thing. Evil is a real thing. And when we call it all these different words, it loses its power. And I'm arguing that it's just idealism. It's from our ideas. We project it onto groups. It's not. When I said it's indeterminate, it's not individual based, because you'll see a lot of people who claim to hate black people, they claim to be racist, until they meet a good black guy, until their life is in danger and they need help. They'll accept the help from a black guy if he's a good black guy. So it's not individual based hate. It's a group based hate based off of preconceived notions. Yeah, and I think I talked about the slurs. Most of your opening was basically just slurs bad, therefore people racist. And I don't think that's a very compelling argument, but I'll give it back to him.
All right, thank you for that uninterrupted rebuttal. And with that, we're going to hand the mic back to Martae for your 5-minute uninterrupted rebuttal. And whenever you're ready, Martae, I will start the timer up with your voice.
It's very funny. My opponent says that if you call people motherfuckers, do they do this? We all know what context means, and we can understand what this is. So basically, in a nutshell, you're saying this is just a transcendental argument. Hate can exist, therefore, but we can't label it because labeling gives it power. Now, to counteract something you said when I'm almost there, in order for us to stop something, we have to identify it, describe it, and then prove it a lie by turning it on its ear. And we can't do that unless we have identifiers, or at least look at things, even if they are things that don't exist outside of the mind, just like force doesn't exist. I mean, not even that, but rights don't exist out of the mind, but force backs this. Force backs racism as well, too. So if we think about this, it is very compelling as an argument, even though you say it isn't. I'll give you some context here too. These are paradoxes that you're going to have to contend with. I already knew we were going to get down to this. If racist people don't exist, why do we need crime laws? So jsurbanadventures, answer me this too. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. You're not going to memorize all of them, but we can go down the line of logic with this. So the people burning crosses were just performance artists, bro. So then every racial slur that was screamed was said by a ghost. Cool. Tell that to the nooses, the schmostikas, and the slurs still showing up in 2026 as if they don't exist. If nobody's racist, why are racist jokes still funny to some people? They're obviously controversial and racist. Otherwise, they wouldn't have humor to them. Okay, then explain the measured hiring loan policy gaps that vanish when names of skin tones change. I know that if I show up to a job named Marquand, I may be selected last on the list because, I mean, truth be known, there's a stereotype with black people. You know, I'll get a Steven Johnson over Marquand any day. This exists. And trust me, if you think about stereotypes, there's a nugget of truth in stereotypes. So when you say this, you're stripping truth from this as well too by saying we can't label things what they are. If racist people don't exist, who signed and enforced the 3/5 compromise? So people just wrote the Nuremberg laws were just bureaucrats having a bad day. Then the Tulsa race riots, the massacre was carried out by pacifists who just tripped and dropped matches. If no racists exist, explain who spent the 246 years of slave codes, fugitive slave laws, and black codes. Cool theory. Tell that to authors of the Chinese Exclusion Act and gentlemen who voted yes. Then the people who created no Irish need apply signs, then the no Mexicans or dog signs were just interior decorators at best. So the Japanese internment camps in 1942 were just enthusiastic summer camps. Gee, sounds very fun to me. If racism isn't real, who exactly passed Jim Crow laws, then spent 60 years defending them in court? The lynchings photographed and turned them into postcards weren't racist. They were just very committed scrapbookers. Is that what this is? Got it, JS Adventures. So the people who created apartheid, signed it into law, and shot kids in Soweto were simply misunderstood urban planners. I mean, think about this. You're basically telling me in your response as your coup d'etat, leading with this and saying, look, I understand that this is a hate thing, and this is the whole rights don't exist argument in a nutshell, because societally, we can look at different definitions, but we know what a thing is. If I call you a MFer to your face, we all know what that means. If I called you gay 20 years ago, you would have just said, yeah, I'm happy. So now in 2026, all these things, I gave you like 15 different paradoxes that are paradoxical with your whole argument that you have to contend with, the internment camps, the Chinese inclusivity laws, like all these things that have happened. And if you think about this, apartheid was just somebody who had a bad day. So this is the thing. Let me reconcile everything, because there's no way that you can do this, because I gish galloped and shotgunned a shit ton of things. I recognize that would be bad faith if I didn't go ahead and concise this into a single point and make this very concise for you. So here's the question that I'll ask. If racism doesn't exist, what would you label this as? Just hate? That means that cross burnings is just hate. Lynching is just hate. But now, if you're just saying that, and I noticed you bobbed your head a little bit, then you have to take away the motivation behind it that you described and just said, this is just blanketed hate. Even though the KKK person on pamphlets signed no blacks allowed and had mandates against a certain race on there. And you would have to say, nope, that's not the motive. They just hate them because they don't pay loans back, because Day went to go get milk and didn't come back for his child. That's because they have the highest deletion birth rates or anything like that. No, not that, because it's a pattern recognition thing. We see blacks, we profile people. That's also racist too. So you're going to have to take out profiling as well too. You're going to have to take out all these stereotypes that are truths. All these are motives ascribed to these labels that you give. All you're doing with your intro is saying we can have hate, but they don't need labels and no identifiers, which in all reality doesn't make sense. Without identifiers, how can we say that things are descriptive? That's my time.
All right. Great rebuttals from both sides. Thank you for that. Before we move into the open hour of back and forth, let me talk to the audience real quick. If you're watching right now, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and subscribe to tonight's debaters. Okay, their links are in the description. We host all kinds of debates here on Swords of Reason, politics, culture, ethics, internet topics, things that you've never heard of. Everything that can have passion and reasoning collide. All right, we have it here. So if you're enjoying the format, make sure you stay locked in, because we got a lot more coming. Also, a reminder for the live chat. After closing statements, we'll be doing a 30-minute Q&A. So I've already dropped the Q&A in the chat for you guys. So put your questions in there, but remember, super chats, PayPals, Cash Apps, these all get priority. So if those fill up the whole 30 minutes, the free chat questions may not get read. So if you have something you really want answered, send it through one of the priority options. And just because, it helps keep the show going. All right. And finally, thank you to both our debaters for being here tonight and bringing your perspectives into the arena. Whenever one of you is ready to start the open floor exchange, just jump in and I'll start the timer up with your voice.
JS Adventures, I do want to say this real quick before we even start this debate. I'm sorry, I'm a rude house guest here. Speak easy. I appreciate you letting me up on your panel and doing this debate. Salute to the missus as well too, Alicia. And JS Urban Adventures, my distinguished, you look distinguished in the jacket, by the way, too. Appreciate you coming formal while I come looking like a thug, insert racial stereotype here. But here's the thing though.
You got here late too.
What's that?
You got here late too.
Yeah, beep, black people time. Of course, I'm supposed to fit this racial stereotype, right? So anyways,
if you were an employee of mine and I fired you because you consistently showed up late, does that make me a racist employer?
It just depends on your motives. So if you self-ID like the person did at the beginning of this is the thing that you avoided too. You also avoided self-ID. Now, if I say to your gay pride event thing that you said, now if they said they're gay people, but they act out because you can't label anything. You could just say it's a descriptor outside of an action or the utility that it's used for. We can say that a fork has always been a killing machine until people started using it for food. Now, a gay person can say that they're gay. They're not gay, but if this guy's putting his boner upside somebody's butt trying to have a brown baby, like that's gay. You can admit to that, right? So if I'm a racist person, I say, I hate white people. And then somebody tells me, do you think all white people are bad like the black woman did at the beginning of the video? And then she affirms this and says, yes, every person that I see is white. Literally what she said. How can you deny her reality by her saying what she did? Because anything she does moving forward, the judge would have to strike out anything racist that she does purely towards white people and just say hate.
Of course she's gonna believe that she's racist because she's grown up in a world where we've pushed this word on people and everybody believes that this is a thing and everybody uses this word. And I'm saying we should stop using that word. So let's go to your example of cross burning. First off, cross burning is a fear tactic used by a group against their enemies. Yeah. Tell me how cross burning is racist, because
who are their enemies?
I would say it's religious intolerance. I get offended when I see a cross burning.
They weren't burning crosses in front of people's yards because they're also Christian. Why were they burning crosses in front of people's yards?
Because they're idiots.
That's a big L take. You sure you want to walk this road with me, bro?
Wait, it's an L take.
That's it.
It's an L take.
There was no motivation ascribed behind the cross burning. There was no motivation. Just I hate you people. The
motivation was to inspire fear in people that they saw as their enemies.
Who were their enemies?
Black people, Jewish people, Mexican people. You just
conceded the whole fucking debate. Anyways, we can continue on. No. We can have a discussion if you want. Debate over. It's fine.
That's not debate over. Just because
bro, come on, you just took a L. You know what? I'm good faith. I'll just act like this wasn't a concession, and we'll move forward. We'll just play. Can we do that? We'll just play like the concession didn't happen.
People hate people for all sorts of different reasons, but we only in specific instances do we give it these labels like xenophobia and racism and stuff. You wouldn't call somebody a speciesist if they didn't like pit bulls, but they liked poodles because they see pit bulls maul kids all the time, so they cross to the other side of the street for a pit bull. We wouldn't call that speciesist.
There are speciesists because they'll say, if you look at, matter of fact, you're about to die on this hill too, by the way. If you go to apartments, do you think there are apartments that say all dogs are welcome except for pit bulls? Does that exist?
So that's a speciesist apartment complex.
Okay, shit, you're gonna die on several swords, I see. Let's continue though.
No, it's fine. If that's your argument, then you're gonna have to get real specific with it's gonna get crazy and it can't be consistent. Like there's gonna be so many isms. There aren't all these isms.
Do you understand? Even if you take the isms out of this, if I go to an apartment building and say, I want a lease, do you think I have any right to be worried because of a pit bull instead of like a poodle dog? Do you think there should be any concern?
Sorry, ask the question again.
So if I was going to get an apartment and I was an apartment renter and I had a pit bull instead of a poodle, do you think I would have any cause for alarm to question my denial coming up?
No. Because they told... Would you have any reason to question?
You don't.
I'm not sure if I understood your question. If they say no pit bulls and I have a pit bull and I'm applying for an apartment and they deny me, then
no, that's not my question. I'll rephrase it. If I'm going to apply for an apartment and I have a pit bull, which is recognized more often than not as an aggressive species because you made a claim that people aren't speciesist or whatever it is you said. Do you think that I would have a concern moving into a random apartment that I would be denied because of my dog then?
If you have a dog that's considered aggressive, you should expect that there's going to be...
We'll just say a pit bull.
Yeah, if you have a pit bull, and you're applying to an apartment, you should be not concerned if they reject you because of your pit bull.
That's crazy. So in my metropolitan area...
Why is that crazy?
In my metropolitan, I don't know how it is for you, but this is almost damn near universally known. I don't know how this got past you. Lord have mercy. But most places and apartments would deny you because you had a pit bull. But if you had a poodle dog, they'd okay that. Yeah. But there's a reason we can deny the subjective reality, move on.
I'm fine with that. And I don't think that's speciesist. I don't think they hate pit bulls. I think they've just observed a trend and they'd rather not have that trend in their apartments.
Are pit bulls a species of dog?
That's actually common sense.
That's
a good thing.
Can you answer the question though? Can you answer the question? Is that a species of dog?
A pit bull, yeah.
Okay, so they're against the species. What is that called?
So it's not speciesist. That's stupid.
Okay.
If I cross to the other side of the street when I see a pit bull, it doesn't mean I hate pit
thing.
bulls. It just means I know they're dangerous and I don't want
You
to
just
be
did
near
the
one.
same
I
thing
don't
you
want to
did
risk
earlier.
that.
You did the same thing earlier when I said, why do they hate those black people? Oh, because they're idiots. And now when you said they're not speciesists, it's because they're stupid. So you're going to revert to going away from labels and calling things what they are. Universally known, if you ask anybody, they would say, yeah, I know what that is. If you say, well, they're just stupid. Do you think anybody would have a clear indication with a motive of why they do it?
No, yeah, the indication of the motive of why they hate something.
Stupid, they would know the motive behind this.
It's not the race. The whole point is that it's not based off of the race. It's not based off their skin color. It's not based off of where they're from. It's based off of what they do and trends and things that we've been taught and things that we've been learned. Is somebody born racist? Okay.
You're actually conceding to the debate a little bit because can people be taught to be racist?
Can people be taught to be racist? They can be taught to be this idea of what we call racism. Or racism.
Oh shit, that's another concession. So people can be taught to be what they are now identifying as, right?
Listen, you have to understand.
Bro.
I'm coming at
God.
You're coming at this as part of the world who believes in this idea. I'm saying I don't believe in this idea. I'm going to use language like, yeah, that would be racist. I'm going to use language that you're going to understand so that we can have a conversation. But I'm saying that it's not actually racism. Yes, apartment complexes or not. That's the pit bull thing. I don't think there's any apartment complexes that say no blacks allowed. Maybe one day, Jim Crow or something, you could say no blacks. All those examples you gave, that's in-group preference. Do
you think racism is a preference?
Racism is a preference? Yes, but the preference is for one's own group.
That's another concept. God, bro, look, do you want me to help you out? I can go to your site and help you out if you want.
No, I'm okay.
Okay, because I can help.
You could just keep saying that's a concession, but I don't think I've made any concessions.
Look.
So hold on, let me run through some of your things.
I know
the 3/5 compromise.
I know you're a good debater, bro. I'm telling you, I know you are.
Well, I'm
waiting for it.
Let me respond to some of the things from your rebuttal. The 3/5 compromise.
Please do. I'm waiting. Go
ahead.
That
had nothing to do with race. That had to do with slave traders not being able to control the vote because they had multiple slaves and their slave heads would be counted on the census. And so instead of having one slave owner who could vote, who has 100 slaves count for 100 votes based off the census, they reduced the value of the slaves because they couldn't vote. And there were a lot of them and they were counted on the census. So they had to reduce the value of that vote.
So JS Urban Event, can I just call you Jay?
Just JS?
I'm not about to be out of breath this whole debate trying to pronounce your whole name.
You don't have to call me JS.
Whatever.
No, you call me Josh, JS, whatever.
Man, Speakeasy, you saved my lungs a whole lot. Anyways, moving forward with this.
So there's the 3/5 compromise. You want to do the Tulsa riots? Do you want to do lynching? Do you want to do names of people that you hire?
Let's get down to let's actually cut to the chase and kind of muddy things down a little bit to where, actually.
Well, I want to run through these. I want to run through these one at a time.
Cool, we can do that. Let's actually bundle that all together. Let's bundle that all together and reconcile this whole debate right now to one bullet.
None of those things are racist.
Okay.
And that's one of my main questions here is give me an example of racism because I don't think you've given one yet.
I gave you a ton of examples of racism.
And I'll go through them one at a time with you.
Cool, but I'm going to ask you one bullet point question real quick. What was the motivation behind this? Them saying this, them verbally saying this. What was their verbiage written on pamphlets, the lingo? What were the slurs in relation to when they espoused this hate?
We talking about the 3/5 compromise or?
No, all of this. Like, let's conflate everything together because they all have one thing that's in common. That's analogous. What was their ascribed motivation altogether that links all of this together and them outwardly identifying as and saying what they are and who the enemy was and who they hate? What was the thing that they had in common?
In none of those examples, I don't know what I don't know what answer you're looking for, but in none of those examples you gave is the answer because we hate black people.
I'll answer this. So if they hate a race, are you going to tell me that wasn't the pivotal motivation behind this?
None of those examples you gave is the reason because we hate black people.
So when the black woman self-admitted and say, yes, I'm racist against white people, are you saying that she's a liar and she doesn't?
That same lady will tell you that white people can't be racist. So she has an incoherent idea of what racism is.
No, that's an assumption. She didn't say that. Can we reconcile what she actually said?
Who's
Did
the lady?
she say that? Do you
talking
believe
about
her
the
when
lady
she
from
says
the
this?
Charlie Kirk video?
No, the black woman that said, yeah, blacks are racist. Yeah, I am racist. And then she said, yeah, all white people shouldn't exist or whatever it is she said.
Of course, if you believe.
Do you think that in her mind she's lying to you
Martae,
when she tells you this?
If I believe in racism, I'm a racist. If you believe in your definition of racism, you're a racist.
That doesn't answer my question, JS. Can you directly answer the question? Does she not believe that she's racist and will do a racist? Okay.
Yes, she believes
That's
she is a
another one.
racist.
Okay.
That's not a concession when in my opening I say it only exists in the minds of people who believe in it, but it's not real.
Yeah, people, you're going to tell me that the people of the gay lifestyle doesn't exist unless they act out on this. And I would agree with that. But these people are literally acting out against this, speaking out against this, and self-identifying as this. So you're going to tell them that they aren't what they are. So if I have so JS said Urban Adventures, it goes down to this. And I'm going to go ahead. This is a pretty harsh example, but I'm going to bring it up. Let's say that you have another version of you in an alternate universe, or another guy. I don't want to put you in this example because
you can put me in the
hates it
example
when I put him in examples, and Alicia has to give me a mouthful afterwards. So I don't want to do that to you. So let's say that there was another man in a room, and this man identified as a PDF file. He didn't show that he was a PDF file, but he was outwardly saying, I love little girls and I love to penetrate them and all this. Would you trust this guy in a room?
No.
Wait, hold on. It doesn't exist because there's no way it's just him saying this.
No, just because racism doesn't exist doesn't mean that murder doesn't exist. Doesn't mean
hold
that
on.
Act. He's identifying with a specific action. Now, if he's
racists don't identify with actions.
Well, if a pedophile is someone who is attracted to girls who haven't gone under pubescent kids, if he tells you I'm attracted to under pubescent kids, then he would fit the category of pedophile. Now, is that
so? The black woman saying that I hate white people and yeah, I am racist. She is not a racist, but the guy who identifies as something is what he is.
If you have some sort of aversion to PDF files, is that PDF fileism?
I can call it that, and I'd be actually right to say that. Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, and so the point here is everything is gonna be an ism. It's gonna be all these isms, and
these
all
are just made up terms that you're saying, which I never.
I agree.
I'm just agreeing with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
These are just made up.
They're
terms.
made up terms, but we're reconciling this with the action. You're afraid of the potential because they're telling you what they are. If I identify as a killer or a mass murderer,
but that's not what it
prohibit
is.
me from doing things. If I identify as a PDF file, you wouldn't allow me around your daughter. If I identify as a black racist, being black myself, like Tyrone Biggums, they wouldn't allow me at the BLM march. That would never happen. You're operating in some different world right now that I can't even comprehend, because when people say things, you would say, no, the pedophile, no, they can't identify as what they are. But when the black woman in the video identifies blatantly, yeah, I am racist, and she's detailing, yeah, all white people, yeah, specifically white people, you're saying, no, that doesn't exist for her. That's a contradiction.
No, I'm saying that she has believed into a false idea. I'm saying that using these words,
the PDF file has believed into a false idea because maybe he was raped when he was a kid.
Do you think everybody's a racist?
You wouldn't trust him, right?
Do you think everybody's a racist?
No, I don't think everybody is.
With the definition you made, any sort of aversion to somebody because of an in-group preference, any sort of stereotypes, any business having a preference of who they serve, like the name thing.
So let me clear this up. When I say no, I don't think everybody is. I think that there are different levels of racism that people have. So when I say not everybody is, the people who I don't think are racist, they haven't told you, and they haven't exhibited this behavior yet. What I'm talking about are the people that belong to the KKK, the Aryan Brotherhood. If you go to prison, are they going to put you in the group of blacks because racism doesn't exist on shower block 9? Are you going to take a shower with blacks, with the Black Panthers? Being that you're segregated, but racism doesn't exist, your life isn't in danger because of a race. Oh, they're doing it because they hate JS Urban Adventures because you cover UFC fights. That's why they're really stabbing you. It's not because you're color in prison, right?
No, those are people grouping together for safety and protection out of fear. So
from what?
So
Because
in
of
prison,
what?
I know guys who go to prison, they get Swazis tatted up on them, they join the Aryan Brotherhood, they stay away from black people and they stay with white people while
Why
they're
is
in prison.
that?
As soon as they get out, they're best friends with a black guy.
Why is that during prison? Why do they need to survive? Why do they segregate?
Because you're stronger as a group. And you're
Yeah,
ideologically
that's not the reason why.
you're
The real reason why.
ideologically aligned with different people, and usually that's going to be something
Is racism
that divides.
an ideology?
That's going to be something that yes, and I'm saying this is ideological hate,
bro.
not race-based hate. It's
It's okay.
ideas that we have.
So when they say I don't want to be I don't want to be locked up with a blackie, that's not hate in prison.
Yeah, that is hate.
That's not okay.
I'm not
So
saying hate doesn't
all right,
exist.
we agree on the hate. We agree on the hate. Good. We're in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, hate exists.
But is there a motivation behind that other than fear? What creates that fear?
How many categories of hate are there? Infinite?
People make up shit all the time, but if they're
so there's
identifying
infinite
as
categories
Aryan
of
Brotherhood
hate.
because they're white and they don't want to be locked in with a darkie, what does that imply?
Hold on. So hate has infinite types.
Is that because of a race?
Hate has infinite types and forms. It's like gender. It's constantly changing.
Yeah, way to broaden what I'm saying right now, but let's get back to this.
Well, I'm
if they're
asking
locked
you-
into a cell
I'm asking
and
you
they're
how
saying,
many-
I don't want to be locked in with this darkie, what are they implying?
They're
Let's dig
implying
into this.
they're implying that they don't want to be in a cell with a black person.
Oh, God, bro. This is bad. So they don't want to be in there with a black person.
Well, okay, that's
Would
fine.
you
That's
say
fine.
that that's right?
No,
Are they? Is that so? You've already
No.
admitted because they're black, they don't want to be.
because if a black Crip was in jail and he said, "I don't want to be in jail. I don't want to be in a cell with a black blood," I wouldn't.
Yeah.
What would I call that?
That would
Gayism?
be something else because it's not
That's
because of their
gangism.
race. That wouldn't be because of it. So now you see how labels help us out?
No,
What you're doing is
it doesn't
wanting to
help us
remove
out at
that.
all.
Yes, they are. Because now, I was
No, 'cause
actually.
now we have infinite types.
Hold
of
on,
hate.
JS. You're talking to somebody who's closer of a subject matter to law enforcement than you. So when I did work corrections
I've
for
had
the
a lot
short
of
amount of
run-ins
time,
with law enforcement.
I worked in law enforcement for a long time. So when we segregate people and we have to do things like STG status, that's the security threat group. That's what that acronym means. And we have to look at tattoos and everything like that. And we have to put race assigned by race because racists hate each other. And when we do this, this causes a threat. When you say things like that are generalized, like, oh, you're stronger in groups, that doesn't really reconcile my argument. That's a universal thing. I can't even concede that, which really doesn't concede with the argument. If you have a black blood and a black Crip, of course, that's just gang affiliation. That's not race at all. Yeah, this is dancing around the whole bush the whole time.
You're looking at this through a window of a world where this idea has been perpetuated. So you're looking at everything under a lens of racism is real, and that's why all these things are happening. But if you go back to the roots, we didn't used to have these race forms. We didn't even have a concept of racism until the 1900s in America.
So JS.
And it was based off of a nonsensical thing. That's what I made the argument about Richard Pratt for. This guy's saying segregation is racist. Meanwhile, kill the Indian, save the man. That's not racist, but segregation
Yeah,
is
you're using
racist.
token statements by people who may not even have a concise definition of what is. Here's my example.
This idea comes from race hustlers, and it comes from civil rights Marxist
I believe
ideology.
people can abuse the word racist and then use it because black supremacy does exist, meaning they're outwardly saying that blacks can't be racist at all, which is a lever.
Why are you going to
leverage
use the
on
words of
white
the
people
enemy
when they say this, which is complete bullshit?
Why are you going to talk like the enemy and use the words of the enemy? You're a Christian.
what were
You
you
know
saying
this is.
before?
You're a
What were
Christian.
you
You know
saying?
this is a spiritual battle. It's not a physical battle. So why are you going to talk like the enemy?
So
using words like
here's the
racism.
thing. I'm
Because-
not talking like the enemy. I'm pointing out the enemy's own contradictions. When I call a duck and say if it quacks like a duck and this and that, if you see somebody walk into a church and they don't acclimate to the church foundation, you're going to say that's a sinner. Let's say that we took your prescription.
No,
and
you're
we-
pushing the idea.
Hold on real quick. Let's say if we took identifiers and descriptors off of everything, we wouldn't know what a sinner is because guess what happens? Even if we have an action, we can't label it anymore. Do you see how muddy this gets and broadened when we say these things? You can't label anybody a racist if they're hanging somebody up and telling you I'm doing this because your color. Oh, this doesn't exist and you're not a racist even though you're saying you hate blacks. This is your whole argument.
No,
This-
white people
this is
lynched
literally
white
your whole
people.
argument.
White people lynched white people too. Lots of people were lynched. More white
Yeah.
people were lynched in America than black people. So if you want to
People
go to
were
lynching,
lynched, but
you-
can we
you're-
reconcile with the motive?
you
What was
pushed,
the motive behind blacks getting lynched by whites?
you push the idea that if I don't hire somebody because they have a black sounding name, that's racist. Do you know how liberal and dumb of an idea that is? If I have
No,
a company,
it's not liberal. Would you like to see the study on this?
if I have a business in Salt
You'll
Lake
get
City,
blown out right now. I'll
Utah,
show you the study. This is hilarious. I
You're
knew
gonna-
you were going to bring this up.
you're gonna say because I don't hire somebody because of a black sounding name that I'm racist.
Wait, hold on. Do you want to see the study on this?
I know there's a study on it. The study's bullshit. The study comes
Oh,
from.
you haven't even seen it. You're going,
I do know.
crazy. This
I
is
do know that.
insane.
I do know the study that you're talking about. I've seen
What
it.
are
The-
stereotypes? Can you tell me what a stereotype is?
observances, typical observances in amongst groups, or common practices that can be observed in groups.
Cool. Can that include race? A race as well too?
If you can give me a coherent definition for race, what you mean by race, because I don't know.
So when I look at a color, I'm using a very broad generalized term, the one that Charlie Kirk talked about. I'm using his definition
because
throughout
Charlie-
the whole debate.
Okay, say his definition word for word.
So okay, let me go back.
Well,
to
you don't
this
have to
real
go
quick.
word for word. You can just. What's his definition of race?
His definition is if you espouse a hate towards a certain people based on their color.
Okay, so colorism.
No, racism, not colorism. That's racism. Because they identify as a race. They're self-identified as a race of people. If I tell you I'm black, are you going to say, well, you don't know if you're black or not? Would you ever say anything like this? Would you utter that? Like, you're not black, Martae.
Well, let's say I'm a racist and I hate black people. Don't clip that, YouTube. But
I'm clipping the shit out of this, but go
I'm
ahead.
a racist and I hate black people. And I meet Easy and I hang out with Easy for like 6 months and I get along with him. I consider him a friend. And then one day I'm like, hey, what's up, white boy? And he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm half black and half white and I actually identify as black. Now all of a sudden he's black. I can't like him. I can't be his friend anymore. I got to hate him now.
Yeah, that's your choice because you said racism is a preference. And
No, you said racism is a color, but
when you say
identifies as black.
colorism, that's just another word for racism. That's all that is because blacks are racist within themselves. You'll have blacks that hate light-skinned blacks because they think they're uppity and too good. Matter of fact, they label white blacks effeminate. You know, this has been a mantra within the black community for a long time. Matter of fact, let's go to an example, a real example. Let's say that this was like some back in the South 50 years ago, and I wanted to drink from a whites only fountain. Is there a race that it's ascribed to that can only drink from this fountain?
If you wanted to drink,
what do they mean what do they mean by saying whites only when they say that? What does that mean?
I mean, it's not that complicated. It's a water fountain for white people.
And what do white people identify as at the time?
They self-identify as white.
Which is what?
A shade.
That's also a color. Can you answer the question?
It's not a color, but
what is white?
It's just it's a shade. It's a color. It's a shade. You want to call it a color? It's a color.
Shade, color. What are they referring to when they say a shade? I'll use your
What
lingo.
What are they referring to? I think they'd be referring to people of European descent.
Which is a what?
A nationality or an ethnicity. So
what
it's
do
not,
they also?
so it's
you're
not
running so hard right now.
I'm not
bro.
running. I'm trying to follow.
Run.
I'm trying to show you how illogical this
bro.
is.
You see the run.
I'm
Would
trying
you
to
like
show
some
you
Nikes
how-
on this track,
I'm
bro?
not running from anything. I'm showing you how illogical this is.
No,
because
you're running because you want to avoid saying race the whole time. You're like, what can I say that's adjacent to race but not race?
So
let
white,
me just tell you
so-
your whole game right now.
So white is just the race. It's just white.
Are there whites out there that identify themselves as the white race?
Sure.
Do you think that's what they meant by saying whites only water fountain?
Sure.
That's enough, bro.
So that's
you gotta
racist.
Stop handing these out to me, bro.
So that's racist.
If I walls, bro.
If I have a building, if I have a business and I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah, and everybody in my area, all of my customer base is Jones, Smith, Jackson, Andrew.
Yeah.
That's all my customer base. So I say 99% of my customers speak English. And then I see a name on an application that says Yaku Umbu, or and I'm like, I can't pronounce this name. This person's
That's
not going to know
inaccurate.
how
You
to
got to put
speak
some chip
English.
noises in there, bro. Go ahead. Bro, you got to say the chip noises. Let's hear it, bro. Because it doesn't exist, so you might as well throw a banana in there too.
But
I'm not being racist, by the way.
The point is, I see that name and I say, that person's not going to be able to speak English. I'm not going to be able to train them properly. They're not going to be able to deal with my customers and answer questions efficiently. I'm not going to hire them. That makes me, I'm racist now.
Urban Adventures. Can I? Oh God, I'm calling you your government
Just
now.
call me Josh or JS.
I don't want to call you your YouTube government name right now. JS, let's say I tell you that I like to peel bananas with my feet. And I like to swing on trees. I love grape drink. Actually, that's true. And I love fried chicken because my melanin makes me love this. And then not to mention this, but I rail against black people just because of their skin all the time. And I have the tenacity. For some reason, whenever I see a banana, I just want to peel this with my feet. For some reason, I don't like using my hands because
I'd call you a monkey.
I'm swinging right now when I tell you this. But now that I'm telling you this right now, but I tell you, God, man, for some reason I hate my own self and I hate black people.
Is he trying to talk to us right now? Who's he talking to? I don't know. He's talking to the I don't know who he's talking to. But anyway.
I think he's getting stalked right now. Ghostface is hunting him on the phone right now.
Sorry, so
Easy, what's your favorite movie?
If you told me you swing from trees and peel bananas with your feet, I'd compare you to a monkey. I'd call you a monkey. Would that be racist?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, that's racist as hell.
Why is that?
I would be wrong for saying that's racist.
Well, it's comparable to a monkey. You're swinging from trees and peeling bananas with your feet. What are you talking about? That has nothing to do with your skin color.
I created some content so I can clip you out of context. Oh, God, I'm so good at this. So now that I got my premium content, let's get back to the debate now that I have my content clip that I needed.
I'm fine with it.
This debate. I'm telling you right now, if I tell you that I'm a self-hating, self-race-hating person, you wouldn't believe me?
You're a self-race hating person? No, I just say
I'm literally being called that by Krusty or Dustina, whatever his name is right now. He's telling me, why do you hate your own people? Why do you hate your own kind? But what if I reaffirm this and say, yes, I do hate myself because of my race only, not many other reason, not because of crime or anything else. I hate myself only because of race. You don't think that that's self-internalized racism?
No, I'd say you have some weird mental disability and it's in your mind. Your idea is your mind is broken. That's why racism is just hate,
don't like labels.
And it usually comes from dumb people.
So
racism,
all I've gotten
quote unquote racism.
All I've gotten this whole debate is when I reference the KKK saying they hate a certain person, you just call them idiots. And then when people say that they're declined because of pit bulls and they're saying because of a species of dogs, you just say that they're dumb people. And now you revert to the same thing by saying they're dumb people. What you're doing this whole debate, and I see this the whole time, is you're saying, no, we can have hate. We just need to take away the motivation behind this by stripping the labels off of this. That actually makes society worse if we can't identify anything. Therefore, we don't have descriptors.
If you hate somebody,
that's a horrible prescription.
Yeah, you said racism is colorism, but then when I said white, what is white? White is an ethnicity. It's of European descent, or white could be of North African or Middle Eastern descent.
I'll give you that much. It could be, but what's that part and parcel with in the South, in Selma? Whites only sign over water fountains. What are they implying? You didn't want to say race. Tell me that's not race.
In-group preference. It's the same.
So they're not talking about a race when it says whites only?
Yes, because it's not about the skin color. It's not about the nationality. It's about the ideas.
Wait, you just said, yes, they identify as a race, and then you said, no,
they identify. Yes, people identify as things all the time.
You just contradicted yourself again, bro. Andrew's debate course is available, bro. Like, this is let's get back to this debate. I don't know why I'm saying this right now. I just want to be charitable and help you out a little bit. I'm just telling you right now, like, a lot of the things that you're saying right now do not exist. Even though I'll even concede. I'll concede this to you right now. You look like Christian Bale's
brother, by the way,
which is a compliment. In some angles, you look like Chris. You could be Christian Bale. But anyways, back to this. I think that I agree with you most of the time. The agreement that I have on your side is saying that this is a construct within the mind. What I'm talking about is how we observe this in reality and what's expressed. And if people express this thing, I would be more inclined to believe you. If you said that you're the KKK and you're moving in next door, you're basically saying you shouldn't have any concern because they hate you just because. There's no reason why they hate you. It's not because of your color. They just hate you, even though they don't know you, but we can't ascribe a label or an identifier to this.
Yeah,
that's
just
weird.
Hate. Why is it weird? That's not an argument.
You're saying it's weird is not an argument because you're not giving me a demonstration of why it's weird. All you're just doing is saying, I'm giving you an empty assertion. It's weird.
I've explained to you.
That's it. But I can't tell you why it's weird.
Okay,
because I'm
so tell me
race. That's what it really is.
I gave you. We're talking about typologies of hate in this debate. The prompt is racism is not race-based hate, but other forms of hatred. I'm giving you a typology. There are 4 forms of hate. Racism is not one of them. Now, you tell me how many types of race there are and why race is one of the forms. But you're going to need to tell me how many forms of race there are.
You're telling me that racism doesn't exist.
No, the debate is racism is not race-based hate, but other forms of hate.
So racism isn't race-based hate?
Yeah, it's not actually based off race because like you said, white.
So hold on.
White is a race, but we don't even know what white is. It's a color.
The woman at the beginning of the video said, I'm black and I hate whites. That's not based off of hate?
I know. I already covered this argument in my rebuttal. I understand people are going to self-identify if they believe in this concept. I'm saying they're wrong.
Okay, why are they wrong?
Because race is not a form of hatred. They've believed into something that isn't real. So it's the same way as the transgender that says I'm a male, but you're not a male, you're a woman. Just because somebody self-identifies with somebody doesn't make it real. They've been deceived, they've been lied to, and they believed into the lie.
So you're doing this really slick, I would say a conflation, when really that's kind of like I would say a false equivalent. And the reason why is that's a false equivalent is because objectively in reality, we can see that they're a man. In reality, we can see that the black man is approaching the whites only water fountain. Do you understand that? These are things we can objectively see.
Yeah.
That's a false equivalent. Now walk down this with me as I go ahead. Hold on. We're in the time machine. Marty McFly, Speakeasy's in the back with the DeLorean, and he's like, bro, I'm dropping you off at Selma, 1950 or whatever. And JS, I said, you know what? You dare me to drink out of that whites only water fountain? It's because they hate me. It's not because of race. Would you allow me to do that?
I can.
Bro, I'm thirsty. I'm really thirsty right now.
I can objectively see the KKK burning the cross in the yard. But I can't objectively see their hate towards black people because let's say, for example, you had a KKK
can you answer
member.
The question, though?
Your questions are convoluted. Ask the question again.
They're not convoluted. They're not. We're back in the time machine because Speakeasy's in the back. We took the DeLorean.
Okay.
He's, ghost riding the whip in the past, back to racist Alabama. And I'm saying, hey, I'm thirsty. I'm going to drink out of this whites only water fountain. I dare they would. I wish they would, right? And I'm walking towards that. Would you stop me?
No. I think it'd be pretty funny. I'd be like, yeah, go do it. Let's see what happens.
Christmas ornament in like 5 minutes.
And somebody
that's what's gonna happen, bro. I'm gonna be a Christmas ornament and I'm gonna be toasty like a Mortal Kombat fatality.
And somebody asked JLP about this, Jesse Lee Peterson, this same question about the water fountains because he grew up in Jim Crow. They asked him, did you have the different water fountains? He said, yeah. They said, what if you would have went to the other water fountain? He said, nothing would have happened. Maybe you would have got some weird looks from people, but nothing would have really happened. He said they enjoyed the separate water fountains because there's an extra water fountain. They had their own section.
That's a crazy take, even for Jesse Lee Peterson to say that. But I'm pretty sure that there's like one-offs.
I think that's a base take. They had their own section.
One-off that happened.
Wait.
Jesse Lee Peterson's so that's an anecdote that you're giving me. That's not actual proof or anything like that. Let's say that sign was fresh.
It's a citation from an expert.
The paint that okay, tell me how he's an expert on this.
How he's an expert on race? He's a 80-year-old black guy who grew up during Jim Crow.
That doesn't tell me how he's an expert because my grandfather could be an expert too because he was in the NAACP and
he's talked to thousands and thousands of people about race relations for the past 30 years. So I'd say he's an expert.
So back to my example, the paint is about to dry on the whites only sign, and the person that just put it up, I'm about to drink as this person's walking off, and he sees me. And his cronies see me. Do you think anything would happen?
And they beat you up or something? Yeah, sure.
You
They
think that
go
I
and they
just
beat
got
you up.
Bro, they let me off easy.
Yeah, they go and lynch you.
Okay, so Rosewood, have you ever seen the movie Rosewood before?
They'd lynch somebody from their own group if they violated a law or broke a rule.
Yeah. What were these laws? Who are these laws against? Even if they lynched themselves.
Against what they saw as another race.
Okay, so all of this is against a race. Literally defining racism, but walk with me. So because all of this is against a race and they hate a race, right?
Yeah, that's what they think because that's what the world has pushed on them. That's
So
the idea that the world pushes.
They think they're racist. These people think they're racist, and they would go hang up an N-word like me on a tree, and I'll be toasty, you know, and then Ed Boon pops out of the side of the screen. So they would not be racist.
You really believe like the KKK was just out here running around, just murdering up all kinds of black people all day, huh? You believe the lie?
I'll tell you, this will be really brief. We were the last state in Arizona to get Martin Luther King Day. And when I walk with my grandmother, because we were marching for this MLK Day we were supposed to get, which I think is BS. I don't think we should have that, by the way. Base, by the way. I'll boost myself. I was walking and I saw my grandma. I said, who are those ghosts over there? Those people dressed up like ghosts? They have a black one. That's cool. My grandma said, keep walking. Don't look at them. So I was walking and I saw my grandma's shadow and we were walking. And next thing you know, like I wasn't holding her hand anymore. And mind you, it's Arizona. It's hot as shit outside. And I don't see her. And she's laying on the side of the road because police are boarding everything off. And there's a brick by her head. And I look up and there's like a guy picking me up, swooping me. And there's another brick that lobs by me. And it only came from these white ghosts. And my grandma got up.
Is this a true story?
Yeah, this really happened.
Your grandma got bricked up by some KKKs?
Yeah, this happened in front of me. And I was a kid when this happened. So my grandmother, she's a tough ass woman. She got up and she said, she acted like this shit didn't even happen. I was like, Grandma, a brick. She was like, shut your mouth. We got to keep walking. Lord, holy mercy. She was like one of these Protestant Baptists or whatever. And we kept walking. And I was like, Grandma, why did the ghost hit you with a brick? She was like, well, I'll tell you about that. She never did tell me about what happened later. But you don't think that was out of a certain hate for a race?
I believe that was out of hate, and I believe that was evil. And I believe
were
those guys...
people racist?
No. They just hated... They're just hateful.
Speakeasy, are you like the equivalent of a judge here because I'm arguing my case and his?
No.
My opponent pleads insanity right now. I'm just telling you right now, he pleads insanity. Just telling you, you can get off. Just plead insanity, JS, while you got the chance to do this right now.
Do you think that KKK guy who threw that brick, if he were in a life-threatening situation, he's dangling off a cliff and some black guy runs up and says, "Let me help you, sir," and he reaches out his hand, is the white guy going to say, "No, Blackie, go get me a white guy to save my life"?
Do you think the white person would help him?
I don't know. There is no white person. This guy's going to die because he won't accept help from a black guy. Because
there are people that probably do that. Yeah, to be honest with you, yeah.
I don't.
There are people that would die on their own swords. Actually, it's stupid. I know that this happens a lot. Yeah, because of pride. Pride is a hell of a drug. When you say I'm so, and here's the thing though, you can't have white pride, even though I can have black pride. And for some reason, racism has had these constructs that don't exist, to where I can say I have black power, black pride, but let you go ahead and say anything like that. What are you going to be called again?
I'm going to be called a racist.
You're going to be called a racist, and are you going to be treated differently in society because of this?
Sure.
So this construct,
because those people are
actions of reality.
Because there's a lot of racist people.
Wait, what?
There's a lot of people who hate racists, so they're racistist.
So if they hate racists, you just conceded that racists do exist. That's another concession, bro.
No.
Bro, come on, bro.
That's not a concession, dude. What
You're
I'm
like
showing
the guy
you
that snitches on himself in prison.
That's
and
not
says,
a concession.
I'm showing you.
I'm showing you how illogical it is. If racist is a person who hates another race,
demonstration,
then a racist is a person who hates racists.
So if they hate something, how can they hate something
I'm
if
showing
this
you how
construct or ideal doesn't exist?
I'm showing you how dumb both are. Both would
I
be
agree.
dumb.
Both of these people are stupid.
Just
I
like
agree. Both are
speciesist would be
stupid.
dumb.
So we're saying it exists, but it's stupid.
If I have a preference of vegetables, then I'm vegetableist.
Wait, hold on. Let's rewind this. You're saying these people hate something that exists, and I agree with you, it's stupid. Am I correct? You just said that.
They hate something that exists.
They hate something that exists in their reality or our social reality. Did I hear you correctly? Because that's what you said.
Yes, but
God, bro.
Yeah, I'm saying people are hateful.
Bro, JS, come on, bro. You got to help me out a little bit.
I mean, you keep like laughing and nodding like, oh, I got you. I haven't seen how you've got me on anything. So the KKK is racist. So why was
Charles
Daryl
Blind wasn't racist, but you're using Charles Blind debate tactics. Charles, I
don't know who that is. There's
Ray
only
Charles debate tactics right now. He wasn't racist at all because he couldn't see.
Yeah.
But you're debating like Ray Charles right now because you can't see what I'm telling you right now and ignoring everything in objective reality. This is crazy.
Yeah, you can't look past your lens that race and racism are real, so you can't see it from my perspective. But Ray Charles couldn't be racist, right?
No, he was blind.
Okay, so a blind person cannot be racist because they can't see.
If they can't
But
see
what
a
if
color,
what if I can hear your voice and I notice that black people typically have a certain type of cadence and a certain type of voice, and I don't like that type of voice? Is that racist?
yeah, that would be hatred towards a certain voice.
But I don't know what color they are.
Yeah, that would be hatred towards a certain voice.
Would that be
but
called
if I
racism?
tell you, we give
would
Ray
that be
Charles
called voice? Would that be called voicism?
That would be hatred towards a voice. But here's the thing, though. Let's say that we gave Ray Charles his vision. Ray Charles can see.
And
now
he says,
he
damn, I'm
acknowledges.
black. I hate black people.
Now, well, Tyrone Biggums, right?
Yeah,
I know. Several different examples of people who say they are racist, and unbeknownst to them, they're racist against their own people like that.
You know, that's a point in my favor. That's a great
No, it's
example.
not a point in your favor.
That's a great example of how racism isn't a real thing, because Tyrone Biggums was a KKK guy, but he was blind, and once he saw that he was black, he divorced his wife.
And then who did he hate? Even though he was blind, who did he specifically say he hated?
Black
Uncle
people.
Ruckus could see. Who did he hate?
These are fictional characters.
Okay, let's say it's a hypothetical and these fictional characters exist because hypotheticals can be fiction. Let's say these characters exist and Uncle Ruckus, I don't know if you know who that is, but Uncle Ruckus was extremely based, by the way. But back to this, it's a black guy that hates black people because he hates the jigaboos and hates jigaboo culture.
I would call that.
Even though he says he's racist.
I would just call that self-hatred. Or actually, I would still just call that hatred. That's an ideological form of hate.
Okay, does he have a reason behind this hate?
Or actually, that would be one of the other types of hate, one of the 4 types of hate.
What would be the reason? What would be the motivation behind this hate, or the reason that he says he's saying this?
He says,
I hate who?
He says it's because of race.
If you say it's because of race, don't believe these people?
No, because they're wrong. That's my argument. And you're not contending. You're
not telling me how they're wrong.
I say racism isn't real. You say, but this person says they're racist, so that proves you wrong. No, I'm saying that person's wrong.
Real. Their motivation isn't real.
Their motivation is a.
They act out the motivation. That's not real, right?
Yeah, but their motivation is something that they ideologically learned, and they're putting onto other people.
Yeah. Religion gets put on other people, and what do the people do? They demonstrate this. If you tell racist people, like let's say I've grown up in a household where I automatically hate white people, and I grow up and every person that I hate, I just hate white people. Racism, you've already admitted this. You said racism can be implanted like a seed in other people, and then they can act out on this, but they don't exist.
Yes,
which is crazy.
Yeah, lies have a way.
Premise.
Lies have a way of spreading throughout people and cultures, and this one has spread
Correct.
throughout the
Do
world.
these lies come to
so
fruition?
You can't even
sometimes?
possibly imagine a world where it doesn't exist.
Do these lies come to fruition sometimes? Can beliefs become real through action?
I mean,
do people demonstrate racism?
They can demonstrate what you would call racism.
Okay, they're demonstrating what I call racism.
Yeah.
What will they be called then?
I'm not arguing that people will do things that you would call racism. I'm saying that that's not racism.
So can you answer the question? They do things out of a race and some racially motivated, hateful thing, like they lynch somebody and they're telling you, I'm a racist and I hate those people.
Yeah, like
they? What should the media call them if we're not going to call them racist?
Evil.
Evil person lynches. What would you call the other person then?
How come they only call?
You can't call them black because they're not racist anymore, right? Evil person lynches who?
Are you okay when they call one race racist? And this gets down to hate speech and hate crimes too.
Can you answer a question?
You've asked a bunch of questions. I want to ask a question now.
Yeah, but can we get to this one because this is like an extension? Sure. Who did they lynch? Since they're only lynching them because they hate them. Who's the person that they lynched?
Everybody was getting lynched, just like everybody was enslaved.
Okay, now it's plural. I'm talking about one person, and they're a certain race, a black person. Who did they lynch?
They weren't just lynching them because they were black. They were lynching them because they had done something. So the Tulsa, you said who were they lynching? Black people. Maybe.
No, this one person.
Also white people.
Okay, they're lynching black people. So
they're not just lynching black people, though.
Just because they hate them?
You're presupposing something in your question that I don't agree to. You're smuggling that in. I don't agree that only white people were lynching only black people.
As I'm racist towards those black people, and they lynch a black person, but you're saying that person's no longer identifying as racist. They just lynch them because they hate them. But then when I asked you,
may identify as
the other
racist.
Person, you don't want to say that they're black because it definitely destroys your whole point. And now you're saying those black people. This is crazy, JS. What are we doing here, bro?
A white guy lynches a black guy, and he says it's because he's black.
Yeah.
Okay. And you say that's racist.
And the guy says, I'm racist.
Okay. And I say he doesn't hate him just because he's black. He hates them because of these preconceived notions that have been put on him that he thinks is a thing. But black is just a color. He doesn't know where that guy's from. He doesn't know anything about that guy.
You just did it again, bro. You said just because he's black. So you agree that he's racist and did it just because he's black, but also you want to smuggle it in and said, well, not just because he's black. So you agree he did this just because he's black too?
He didn't do it just because he's black. If this person was a blank slate,
you just said he did it just because he didn't do it just because he's black.
You're implying that the
you
racism
just contradicted yourself.
You're implying that the racism is some sort of inherent born thing that we're born with. If this KKK guy who was going to lynch this black guy, say he got hit in the head with a rock the day before he did the lynching and he had amnesia, he forgot everything he had ever learned, is he still going to lynch the black guy because he's black?
Can you answer the question again? I was just looking at a chatter. My bad.
Can I ask the question? You want me to ask the question again?
Yes. Can you ask the question one more time?
So this racist KKK guy who hates people because they're black, he gets hit in the head with a rock and he has amnesia. He forgets everything he ever learned. He doesn't even know his own name. Then he sees a black guy. Does he hate the black guy?
Yeah, we just took a racist person off the map because he's no longer. It's the same thing. So if a gay person used to bang gay people in the butt and try to have a brown tar baby from this guy, and then he gets hit in the head, and he no longer has this ideology, thus can't act on this, and he doesn't identify as gay anymore. Guess what? He's no longer
gay.
Thank you.
But that's proving
that means that he did exist. Therefore, he no longer identifies this in his actions.
So you're saying racism is an inherent trait that we're born with and that we can't forget.
I never said that. That's what you said. Never said it's an inherent thing we're born with.
In the question that I gave you, I said the KKK guy who hates black people because they're black gets hit in the head with a rock and forgets everything he ever learned or everything he ever knew. And you said he would still be racist.
No, I never said that. I said he isn't racist anymore. All that dissipates with him in his memory and identification. When I gave you the gay analogy by saying this gay person used to bang dudes in the butt all day.
I misunderstood your answer. I thought you said, yes, he would still be racist.
No, I need you. Can you be right here with me, bro, if you can. So the gay person gets hit in the head. So we see people all the time in movies. They get amnesia and they don't recognize their wife anymore. Is that guy still a husband?
Well, legally he's still married, but does he still love his wife? I don't know.
May not. Maybe he's not a husband anymore.
He may not. he may still love her because I would argue love would be something.
No. Now you're saying
love.
me.
love
You
is
see what you just did there? You're
Well, I
saying
don't
may.
know.
You didn't offer may in the other two descriptors.
It depends on if it depends on what type of love, but love would be a transcendental concept. Love would exist through God even if there were no humans on earth. Racism would not.
This guy wakes up and he has a loving wife and a family, and he wakes up and has amnesia. Whatever happened, we'll just say that, Speakeasy woke up and knocked him the fuck out, and then he wakes up and doesn't remember that he has a family and kids anymore. Yet he's surrounded by these strangers who he doesn't recognize this at all. And he's seeing this wife, and he realizes how ugly she is, and it's like now his tastes change, his preferences change, just like racist in this amnesia example. But he's like, oh, you ugly bitch, stay away from me. Those aren't my kids. Pff, hell nah. But everybody tells him, hey, no, this is your lived experience beforehand. You did do this, and we show like DNA examples and all this. Just like the racist person, we have film footage of you lynching a black person. You're a racist before. The person can say, well, I no longer
Your question is going on and on and on. I've lost
track
track of the beginning of your question. Are you going to get to so basically the guy gets amnesia, he loves his wife, he gets amnesia, now he no longer loves his wife. Does that mean that I'm arguing that love doesn't exist?
No, that's not my question.
Well, I would say that form of love doesn't exist. That's fake love.
No, that's not what I'm saying. He is no longer a loving husband. He's still a husband, but he's no longer a loving husband that goes. This is a stranger. According to him, quote unquote, ugly bitch now for some reason. He's no longer a loving husband, right? Meanwhile, you could show documents. There's birth certificates from his kids and the DNA example, all this other stuff. Just like the racist person who wakes up from amnesia. Hey, there's footage of you on TikTok lynching black people. Oh shit, I don't remember that. God, I must have been.
I guess I'm racist.
My bad. I don't identify that with that anymore, and I won't act like this. That was crazy. That was a scumbag. This guy's no longer racist now.
Oh, because he self-identifies as not racist anymore.
No, he no longer acts this out anymore. It no longer says this. He no longer does this by speech, by action, by thought. He's a wholly different person now.
So you could just stop being a racist.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. So
you
you're
can
not
stop being a husband too.
So you're not born. You're not born as a racist. And you can just stop
you're not
being
born
a
as a husband either.
You can self-identify as not a racist or a race. You can self-identify as whichever race you want.
So no, hold on. This is muddying the waters up a bit. If you self-identify and then you do the thing, that means you are the thing. I can self-identify as a unicorn all day, but if I don't do this and act this out, that doesn't mean anything. But speech is equivalent to action, because if I have the wrong speech, my channel gets demonetized. The speech is also an action in other people's opinions too. But if I call you racist words on Speakeasy's channel in very TOS language and his channel gets demonetized and stripped out, there are real actions for this.
So if you self-identify as a woman and you cut your pepe off and you have sex with dudes and you go in the girl's bathroom, you're a woman?
So now we're going off into the thing that you mentioned before, which is a false equivalent. What I'm saying is if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and you can fool me, that's a whole different thing from
then it is a duck if you can be fooled.
Anybody can be fooled, but guess what? If that person believes you, you are the thing because of action, demonstration. If I say that I hate you because I'm racist and I lynch people that you know, I can't tell you, hey, don't call me a racist. It's just hate.
But if somebody says they're a racist,
you know, it's always because of race.
If somebody says they're a racist, but I don't believe that they're a racist, they can't fool me, then they're not a racist.
You have to, let's say that let's say people say I'm gay, but I've never demonstrated in the past that I've been with another man. Is that true?
That you're gay? No.
Jesus.
I know gay guys who have never had sex with another dude. They just say they're attracted to. I say gay doesn't exist.
Yeah, they just self-identify, just like Christians say that they're Christians. But you and I know that, let's say Lila Rose got dunked and then she came up and then the water smelled like hot dog water for some weird reason. We all know why. But she came up.
Lily Phillips.
Yeah, my bad.
Oh, no.
Sorry to Lila Rose, my bad. Put the wrong Lila Rose, please don't come at me. Lily Phillips got baptized, and now afterwards, she's demonstrated that all this was a public bathing pool. That's it. Would you say that she's a Christian, even though she went and gang banged like 300 dudes that night? Would you say she's a Christian?
No, That's my point.
Right. The actions and self-identifiers have to coincide together. If I'm a racist person, say I'm racist and lynch a black person and tell you it's because he's black, you're saying that I'm not a racist, which is, this whole argument is crazy. That's why I love this debate. It's just crazy that you're defending this.
Yeah. Let's go back to the KKK because this is always one of the big arguments is the KKK. Oh, hold on one second. So Daryl Davis, he was a black guy. He was a blues player. He would infiltrate KKK groups. He would call them and write letters to them. They would talk to him on the phone, and he spoke articulately. He spoke clearly. Sounded kind of like a white guy. And so on the phone, they'd be like, "Yeah, come down to our meeting at the bar," you know. And then he would go and he would show up there, and they'd say, "What? You're a black guy? We talked to you on the phone. You seem so based." He convinced dozens of KKK members to leave the KKK. And now there's 3,300 active members in the KKK today. They were LARP. What it proves is they were LARPers.
That proves my point.
No, the point is they liked this guy. Once they saw that his character was
they
not
no longer subscribe to this belief system, which they could act out on in a motive anymore, right? He stole their motive away from them, right?
Their belief system was false. Their belief system was all black people are criminals and thugs. And then they meet a black person who isn't a criminal or a thug. And they're like, "Oh, you seem like a decent guy. I'll get along with you." So they don't just hate him because he's black. They hate the idea of the criminal and the thug. There's always a deeper rooted thing. I'm trying to get to the root.
Do you believe that if Speakeasy, God, I hate using Speakeasy for examples because I'm going to have to hear this from the missus. Would you believe that if Speakeasy was a warlock and he practiced witchcraft, and this is something he inherently did, but we all know that witchcraft is a lie. That's something that I know you believe as well too. We all believe that this is a lie.
I believe there is like dark magic, and you shouldn't play with it.
Right, but would this be the truth, the way? Would this be the truth and the way?
Would it be the truth and the way?
To say that that's a lie.
No, I think witches and warlocks are real, and they're doing something real and evil.
Okay, evil is real, but do you think that that is the truth that everybody should be led down towards? Do you think that's a lie being told to people that could deceive them?
No, that
you don't think witchcraft is a lie that deceives people?
No, it's a real thing.
So how can witchcraft be real, which is intangible to the mind and everything else?
It's not intangible to the mind.
But racism not be real and intangible to the mind, which deceives people.
If I'm a Christian,
how that contradiction just worked right there.
If I'm a Christian and the Bible is my epistemic foundation for what I know and what I believe in, it talks all about sorcery and witchcraft. It doesn't talk about racism though.
So feet like potted breasts. What does that mean? They weren't talking about a color.
Yeah. In Solomon, it calls
shit. Yeah, you just bro.
Well, no.
Stop helping me.
Just because colors are talked about doesn't mean racism and the concept of racism is taught or talked about.
What do people mean? What do people mean when they say race? When they put whites on
what the Bible does talk about is ideological differences, people's ideas. So like the Canaanites and
that's
the heathen.
The reference I gave you though.
The heathen.
So when it says whites only, what are they referring to?
You hate the sinner. You don't hate the sin. The heathen, the different tribes, because of their beliefs and their practices, you hate those beliefs and those practices.
Yeah,
so you don't allow those people in.
You think people hate people and their sin part and parcel? Do you think that exists?
Yeah, I think that.
Oh God, bro.
I think that
You know what that means? You just open up a whole can of worms, bro.
I don't like.
So that means that part and parcel, if somebody acts out hatred and then says they identify as a racist and lynches somebody, you're saying that, okay, yeah, they can be racist, but you said that several times.
I think they're dumb and they've fallen for a false idea. They don't actually hate the person because of their race. They hate them because of an idea that they're putting onto people that they were raised and they were formed into, but it's false.
I agree. That is a dumb idea. People identify and act out on this. Do you think that we shouldn't label people racist anymore, even though they identify as this?
No, I think we should stop using that word.
What do you call racist people who say they're racist and hate a race then?
Dumb, hateful people.
See, you're saying that people that are racist, telling you they're racist, that lynch people just because they're black, they're now dumb and not racist.
Yeah, they're dumb,
That's
hateful people.
crazy.
They're dumb, evil people.
All right, so that would wrap up the hour of open floor. But every now and then, when I see it looks like there could be some more iron sharpened, I like to ask, keeping in mind that we have the 30-minute Q&A still. Do both you guys want another 30 minutes for the open floor?
I like to have a little bit of time on the panel, and since I have a hard out.
Yeah, we'll do the time on the panel. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, no problem. No
Plus,
problem.
we'll probably get into a little more stuff during the questions. So
also, you can throw up a poll while we're at it.
That is
all right, but if we do a poll, the poll's got to end when I leave. The poll can't sit up for 8 hours while I'm not.
Oh, you see what he's doing right now? I don't want to see. I don't want to see the bad numbers. So just like racism, which doesn't exist.
Real quick, let me. So that right there is going to 1 second.
I'm gonna run to the restroom. It'll be like 30 seconds.
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead. That's gonna, for everyone, that's gonna wrap up the hour of back and forth. Okay. Again, excellent exchanges from both sides tonight. Okay. So what's gonna happen is we're gonna enter into the final phase of the debate, the closing statements. All right. Quick reminder to the live chat. All right. That Q&A is up there already. So if you got questions for either debater, make sure you drop them in now. And remember, super chats, PayPals, and Cash Apps, those do get priority. So if they fill up the whole 30 minutes, not all the free chat questions will make it through. So if there's something you really want guaranteed to be asked, send it through one of the priority options. All right. With that being said, while we're still waiting for JS, another reminder to everyone watching right now, make sure you go to the description. All right. You have a minute to do it right now. Go to the description. Hit both of the links there and subscribe to both of the debaters, okay? They came out, they gave you a great show tonight, and takes more than you know to do this in front of everyone, so make sure you go give them some love, okay? Send them some super chats, all of that, all right? With that being said, we're going to move in to the closing statement. So, JS, you're going to go first for the closing statements. That'll give Martae the last word. So, JS, whenever you're ready for your closing statement, I will start the timer up with your voice.
All right. So basically what this all came down to is racists are racist because they say they're racist and they do what we call racist stuff. And I'm saying none of that is real. None of it's logical. None of it's coherent. At one point the definition Martae is going off of is that race is essentially just the color of your skin. So it's colorism. But we can see examples of people who don't like people within their same color skin group because of their ideas, because of their culture, because of their practices, their habits, their tendencies. But we wouldn't call this person racist because they hate. If somebody hates themselves because of their skin color, they're racist. Like, race has to be more than just color of skin. If all it is colorism, then why don't we hate the color black on it when it's painted on a house? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. It's got to be deeper than that. And once you go deeper, you find out it's not that deep. It just doesn't make sense. There's limitless forms or limitless types of race or of isms and hatred. I don't think we should call things what they aren't. We should call things what they are and stop feeding into this worldly idea of race and racism. If racism is real, I'm racist as shit. And everybody's racist. Martae's racist. Easy. We're all racist because racism is real. And it's this, this undefinable concept that any type, if you hate anybody for any reason, well, that's racist now. And it's hard to even look at this outside of that lens. And that's why I think maybe me and Martae were kind of talking past each other. He kept saying, "You're conceding the debate. You're conceding the debate." I'm not conceding the debate. I'm saying I get that they believe that it's because of race that they hate someone, but it's actually deeper than that. And I'm trying to get to the root. Where does that hatred come from? Where does it stem from? It doesn't stem from skin color. It stems from ideas that they've learned and that they've been taught. and they believed into it, and they think that it's related to skin color, but it's not. They're projecting that hate onto people. That hate isn't actually there. That's why it's an indeterminate hatred. It's a hatred for a group based off of your own ideas. And this is why I think racism doesn't exist. Racism is not race-based hate. It's other types of hate. It's ideological hate based off of all sorts of variables. And it just can't be coherently held as a position. It doesn't make sense. So that's all I got. Thank you, Easy. Thank you, Martae. This was fun. You know, it's a weird debate, but I'll take it. So that's
what's up. Thank you for that closing statement, JS. And with that, we are going to hand the mic over to Martae for your closing statement. Martae, whenever you're ready, I'll start the timer up with your voice.
So I did take some notes. You contradicted yourself. You said Martae thinks that race is just related to skin color. And then the next sentence over, you say it's not related to skin color. I'll leave that awkward pause right there with loud ass fucking crickets in the room. So back to this. You say that people can't make absolute claims, which is ridiculous on its face. I have a brother who's a Lindo Park Crip member. This is why my family is broken up and why I grew up in the system and, you know, strange family members, things like that. And he identifies as a Crip. Matter of fact, he's such an absolutist that he'll tell me happy C day. The guy doesn't even use B in his vocabulary. If there's any red in his house, and it's just because of a color, which you're saying doesn't exist. There are gang members right now that speak a whole different dialect because of letters due to just a color, nothing more than just a color. And if they can do this as gang members, surely people can do this as just a race. We can't make an absolute claim and say that, no, there's a deeper reasoning behind this. And the reason why that's a crazy statement to say is you're saying that people can't have just a race behind this regardless of this. While I do agree with you that idiotic people and dumb ideologies do exist, they act out on this in the real world and are motivated by a singular purpose sometimes. Yes, people are that dumb. And when we do have populists in prison, they do gang up together because of strength in numbers, but there's a reason why they segregate only by color. And then when it goes to color, people segregate even then. You'll have the white power nationalists segregate from the Aryan Brotherhood. And then you'll have the Peckerwoods. Yes, that's a real gang too. It's not a slur. They're called that by names. So you'll have the Peckerwoods segregate from them. So within race, yes, this does divide into other things. But at the beginning, there are people who have a singular purpose, which you said it doesn't exist, which is fallacious on its face to say that people just don't look at a color and just label their whole life and enact this whole life as in a ritualistic nature, like my brother does, this Lindo Park Crip member does. And it's like, bro, you can't even say birthday because the letter B's out of your vocabulary. It's that bad. Yeah, because I can't say dead. He says dead. He doesn't even say red. It's just a color. And I even asked him, and you can ask even Tukey. If you ask Tukey, who's a prominent Crip member, the guy had the same verbiage in lingo too. Not only this, the guy didn't have red anywhere prior to prison. Well, conformity in prison makes you conform to other things and open your mind up, just like Malcolm X did. And he didn't hate a certain race after that because he came and his belief system was unwound and he became less indoctrinated by America's version of Islam. He came back and saw whites praying with other people, like your insomnia example, and came back and changed these preferences. So when you say this, that racist people don't exist, you're saying that people with preferences don't exist. Their motives by proxy doesn't exist as well too. And you're saying that they're just hating people and they're just lynching people. It's not because of the color of their skin. Oh, wait, yes, you conceded this in the debate. You said, yeah, it's because of their color. And then you contradicted yourself and say it's not by saying it's not just because of their color. That right there is a concession in the whole debate, meaning that, yes, you do agree that they're racist. And then you say because of their color, but not just because of their color. That right there to the audience is a whole concession in just that statement alone. And then when I say all these gotchas and all that, it wasn't just to say that because this was very painful to do this debate, because when I heard you admit things and then fall into these traps, like I said for you, even the Pitbull thing automatically, because perception becomes reality, even though this indoctrination can be foolish. Yeah, JS, let me talk to you specifically. No longer talking to the audience. I'm talking to you specifically. This ideology is stupid. You and I are fighting on the same front. We would agree on that, right? Okay, you can talk. right?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, that's all you need. We agree on that. We have a united front. The only quarrel that I have with you is that I'm saying that this is real, that these stupid people do exist, and their ideology does exist, in that if we don't have labels, we don't have identifiers anymore, and we can't call it the thing anymore. I think that if we don't call them the thing anymore, we actually give them a scapegoat and blend them in with other people that they definitely don't identify as by action. Even if their crimes are heinous, by the example when I gave you of the PDF file, we can't call him a PDF file. He's just he just loves kids. Like, don't call him a PDF file anymore, because even though he identifies this anymore, like, it's like we're starting to take labels off of things, identifiers off of things, and descriptors off of things. That's really what his whole argument boiled down to, is like, got to take the label out of it because it doesn't empower anything, even though they would do this anyways. Like, prison's a good example of them doing it anyways. I can see my time.
All right. Thank you for that closing statement. That will conclude the closing statements. Great work from both debaters tonight. If you are enjoying what you are seeing, make sure you like the stream, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the debates we host here on Swords of Reason. We run all kinds of matchups, political debates, cultural debates, social issues, philosophy. You want to come settle an internet beef, okay? Anything where a conversation is worth clashing over, we bring it into the arena. All right. And don't forget to subscribe to tonight's debaters as well. Their links are in the description. Make sure you show them support for stepping in the arena and sharpening their arguments tonight. Okay. And before I start the timer for the 30-minute Q&A, I like to ask a question to each debater myself based on either things I heard, arguments I want clarified, points I think that were missed and deserve one more pass, things like this. All right. And once those are answered, we'll begin the official 30-minute Q&A. So my first question I have for, we're going to do this. We're going to start on the affirmative side here. So first question is, how does your position account for cases where individual what was that?
It was you echoing.
I just heard my own voice. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, you're
good. So how does your position account for cases where individuals explicitly state hatred toward people solely based on the racial appearance?
I'd say they've fallen into the lie. They've believed that they hate somebody because of their appearance, but there's a deeper root to it. It's embedded in something different, and that they identify something a certain way because of a group, but it's not just the way someone looks that makes them hate them. It's what they believe this group is guilty of. And so that's why I said it's an indeterminate ideological hate. Quote unquote racism is indeterminate. It's not an individual thing. It's just a group thing based off of their background. So now they're projecting that onto somebody else. That may not actually exist in the person. They say I hate you because you're black. Well, why do you hate black people? Because black people commit most of the violent crime. But this person doesn't commit any violent crime. You just hate them because they're black, because you think black. So anyway, it's a lie that they believed into.
All right. And did you have something for that, Martae?
I agree. People buy into lies, but I think that people can live a lie, which means that people that live lives exist. You can drop the mic already. Speak easy.
All right. So then the next question I have for you, JS, is if race-based hatred is merely just like a mislabel, right? Why has it appeared repeatedly across different like time periods and societies with no like shared political frameworks?
I don't think it has. I don't think this idea of colorism or race is based off of skin color has existed throughout time. It didn't exist till we gave it a word and we started using it and pushing it. And certain people of an ideological bend pushed that on us. Before we would have called it, I don't know, maybe they would have called it tribalism, but you don't hate the person because they're in another tribe. You hate them because of the practices of that tribe. And so like we see the same thing in the Old Testament, that the Israelites maybe hated the practices of the Canaanites and the Hittites and stuff like that. But then we see Israelites going out and sleeping with Canaanites and Hittites. So they don't actually hate the other person because they're in the other tribe. They hate the practices of that tribe. It's indeterminate. It's not an individual thing. It's just an idea.
All right. And Martae, did you have something for that?
Yeah, that's crazy. Like the example I gave, like my brother doesn't identify as a Crip, even though he tells everybody he's a Crip and doesn't hate Bloods because they're red exclusively, and tells everybody he identifies as
that example is crazy. You think that Crip? You think that Crips hate the color
You're saying
red?
that these people don't exist who self-identify as black but hate whites. They're saying, "Oh, I hate whites and I hate you because I'm racist," and they're outwardly saying this, self-identifying this, and acting this out. They'll hit you in the head with a brick because they hate you only because of their race, and they say this. What you're doing is you're saying, well, these people in the Bible didn't hate them because of this. You're ascribing knowledge to somebody without being, I mean, I don't think you're a clairvoyant and you can't read minds. Well, we don't actually know without a certain doubt, like if this is an absolute claim, which you're making right now, but it's like my brother, that's an absolute claim he's made several times. People like this do exist. People can say, I only hate you because of this. That does exist. And to say that it doesn't exist is absurd on its face. It really is.
If you think Crips just hate the color red and that's why they hate Bloods, I think that's
there's part and parcel things that come with this, but like Speakeasy's example he gave you.
What came first, the hatred of the color red or the hatred of the rival gang?
Doesn't actually reconcile the whole prompt by saying it doesn't exist. You realize that, right?
I'm saying they don't actually hate the color red.
Let's say it came in any order. Does it or does it not exist no matter what order it came in? Does that refute the prompt?
No, because if we keep dividing things up like this, it gets incoherent and it becomes nonsense. There's no more meaning to it.
I agree it's nonsense, but do those people exist?
This is why
belief system.
This is why gender has no meaning now.
Do you believe that?
Unless you say gender is just synonymous with sex. In the same way, I would say racism is just synonymous with hate.
Do you believe that though, JS?
Do I believe that gender has no meaning?
Yeah.
Not the way that they're understanding. I would say gender is just sex.
So these people don't believe in the way that you understand gender to be. Do these people with those beliefs exist?
Yes, people with beliefs exist. That doesn't justify the belief existing.
No, I'm not talking about justification. I'm talking about I'm going to ask a question. Do they act out this belief system in real life on the left?
Yeah.
So that doesn't prove their existence by behavior, by speech, by self-identification?
No, it does identify their behavior.
No,
but
their existence.
I would say I don't.
People that have this.
I would say
ideology.
I don't like their behavior. In fact, I hate that behavior. I think it's evil. Does that make me transphobic?
No, that's not. That doesn't even answer the question. Do these people who identify with this behavior and act out this certain behavior, do those people exist?
Yeah.
And self-identify as that. Okay, so they do exist. Bro.
I'm not saying that people who believe in false ideas don't exist.
What the prompt is, man. This is crazy.
All right, so let me get to my questions for you, Martae. So my first question is, given that people often will treat members of the same race differently based on like class or accent or even politics sometimes, does that undermine the idea that race itself is the primary object of hatred? Or doesn't it? Sorry, I'm asking. Doesn't that undermine sorry, let me say it again so you have it all in one. Given that people treat members of the same race differently based on class, accent, politics, doesn't that undermine the idea that race itself is the primary object of hatred?
So two things can be true. I agree with that. Like, let's say that, because there are people that'll say light-skinned folk in my race, right, of black people. They'll say, well, you're light-skinned, you think you're too bougie. There's like a certain stereotype or a certain stigma that they'll put on white people because they think we're bougie, or I'm effeminate because I'm light-skinned, or there's this whole thing in the black community by saying we're sensitive. Now, we're all blacks, but we're treated differently within the same socioeconomical structure, whether or not it's like economics, whether or not it's status, because I have a lot of money. I'm now an uppity Negro, things like that. Yes, this will happen, but that's not exactly like a race thing, because people, even though you say that this guy's a blood and you hate him just because he's a blood, there are also things. There could be because he shot at me. Well, because he lives next to my grandma. I don't like the fact that a blood lives next to my grandma or whatever. We can pile on things underneath that. But if you really ask them, why do you, like, how do you identify? Right? We would look at how they act, their mannerisms, how they talk. There's one thing that's unified within these people. If you ask them, all of us hate white people as blacks. Yeah, you're going to have infighting, just like a football team doesn't like the quarterback because he thinks he's snobby, but they're all on the same team and they hate certain specialties that they have. Like we have the offensive coach. We hate him, but we like the defensive coach because he loves the linebackers and things like this. There could be infighting, but overall we hate the Patriots because we're not the Patriots. We all are unified underneath a certain hate, and we self-identify as this. But yes, there's things that are part and parcel with this, but racism can exist alone, like the Bloods and Crips and blacks that say, I only hate them. I don't care who it is. Like the black woman at the beginning said, I hate whites. Yeah, I am racist. She didn't say anything else, didn't say any other reason. Do you think that we can presuppose that there are other reasons? Yeah, maybe she'll make it up, but she's believing this false indoctrination. But that's a racist right there that we're looking at.
All right. And did you have anything for that, JS?
No, I'm good.
Okay. And then my next question is, if race is socially constructed and it seems to be inconsistently defined across like cultures and history, what exactly is being hated when someone is labeled a racist? Like, is it phenotypes? Is it culture? Is it behavior? Is it power? Like, why call that race hatred rather than a different category of prejudice?
That's for me, right?
Yep.
Well, the black woman said, remember at the beginning, because we can always replay the footage. This guy said, well, do you hate white people? She said, yeah, I hate white people. And then they said, well, that sounds racist. She said, yeah, I am racist. That reconciles everything for you right there. That's a summation of everything you just said. That's my response.
Well, like, yeah, so I'm asking what exactly is being hated when someone labels themselves a racist? Like, is it phenotypes they're hating? Is it culture? Is it behavior?
She's talking about just the color, right? And we can assume, and I would make an assumption, speak easy, if I said, well, she hates this about the whites. She just blatantly said a broad statement which only applies to a race. And she didn't say why. She just said, I hate white people. And then when asked, are you racist? She said, yeah, I am racist. So using these only two pieces of information that she had plenty of airtime, mind you, I have the full interview here, which is crazy, extensively. And she was given a modicum amount of time to like say, hey, why? She just said, because they're white. That's it. She didn't offer anything else. She just said, just because they're white. That's it. Like, there was nothing else there. She solely hated people. According to this, if we're to only go by what we know, observable reality, that's it. Just like the woman who also said, I'm racist, and then she called the person the Ensler. Did she offer anything else? No, she only offered the fact that I hate you because you're an N-word. And then the black person said, you're just white. That's the reason why I hate you. That's it.
All right. Did you have anything for that, JS?
Yeah, I just think that sounds like nonsense on his face. I just hate you because you're white. Why does she hate white people? That's the whole point. She has an ideology that she's formed over time of being against a group of white people. So she hates an individual because she fits into that group. Why does she hate that group? It's not, you're begging the question to say that it's just because you're white. I hate white people because they're white. But why? Why do you hate white people? Well, there's a deeper reason, and it's not, and that's, what the question is getting down to. But JS,
you understand it's the same thing that I can ask my brother. Why do you hate a color? Well, he said and I even asked him.
He doesn't hate the color.
That's red. He said just because I hate red, there's no other reason. Just because it's red.
I call bullshit on that. He probably said because it's related to the Bloods. That's the color they identify with, and I hate the Bloods.
Claim when you say that. If I act, because believe me,
He hates the color red because it's red. He just hates the color red.
Yeah, and I asked him, there has to be another reason why you hate it, and he said, well, because I'm a Crip.
Well, then why doesn't he say
just because it's red?
And he also hates certain letters.
Yeah, because it's associated with the color red. But you see how this branches off just because of one reason?
A Crip won't say the letter B because it's associated with the color red.
Yes.
No, it's associated with Bloods.
No. He says
he hates Bloods.
It's a color. I don't. Yeah, we can say it's Bloods, but just like it's blacks.
So you're not getting to, and this is the problem with racism. You don't get to the root
because they're black.
You don't get to the root of something when you start calling it what it's not. You're saying he hates the color red and the letter B. No, he hates Bloods.
So he doesn't hate the color red?
And why does he hate Bloods? Because they're another group and he has an in-group preference.
Wait, hold on.
To be against
that group. Are you saying that you just said that racism is a preference? He can't choose to be this and self-identify as that?
He can't, but when you start saying that he hates the color red and the letter B, you know damn well he doesn't hate the color red and the letter B. He hates the Bloods and they're associated with the color red and the letter B.
No, I legit asked him, is there any other reason why you hate it? He said, I just hate the color red and there's no other reason behind it.
He's a colorist letterist.
He said, I hate the color dead because I just don't like it. He wouldn't even say red. That was crazy. He hates the color that much. And I said, and I even asked him, I said, look, you're a Crip. I understand that you guys are at war. You don't like them or whatever. He said, it's a lifestyle. I believe in this. It's like his religion, bro. Like the guy doesn't have red anywhere in his head.
There you go. All right. So it's like his religion. It's his ideology.
So, okay. I do have one more question for you, Martae, because I just wrote an extra one for you here. Because it was based off something you said earlier, and I kind of wanted to see where you differentiate it, because you said if someone self-identifies as black, they are black. So why?
No. So remember Rachel Dolezal? She self-identified as black, but then she was quickly outed. And what was the backlash? It was pretty bad, right? Speakeasy.
Yeah, but I thought earlier you had. I could be mistaken, I guess, but I could have swore you said that if someone identifies as black and then
they have an action or a demonstration that they are the thing. Yes.
Yeah, so then they are the thing, right?
Yeah, Rachel Dolezal was black until what happened?
So like Sean King identifies as black and he becomes one of the leaders of Black Lives Matter. He dresses black, he acts black, he talks black. Yeah. But he ain't black.
He's fooling people, and then when they find out, guess what happens?
So is he? Wait, you just said Rachel Dolezal was black.
You're making my point.
I'm getting confused here. You said Rachel Dolezal was black.
No, what I'm saying is she was perceived black by everybody else. She fooled everybody, and then when they were like, "Oh, she's not black," then guess what happened? Massive backlash. It's like if there was a woman that used to be a man, we can be fooled, but guess what happens when we find out she's a man and she was around our daughters? You'd be pretty pissed, right?
Okay, so I can change my question.
And just because you identify as a racist and you do racist-looking things doesn't mean you're actually a racist.
Yeah, so like you're making my point. If you're saying you can be fooled on race,
yeah,
right? Does that mean that the concept of like the definition of race is just incoherent then?
No, it's a construct until it's like, because here's the thing though, you would say sex is incoherent too. Like I can pass off as a female until somebody outs me. I can pass off as Tyrone Biggums and infiltrate the Klan, but then if he gets sight back, guess what? He gets ousted. He gets ostracized.
And you can call yourself a racist until I show you why you're not actually hating a race. You're hating an idea that you've made in your head.
Well, that's a whole nother example we can get into, but it doesn't change the fact that they were a racist. You can change your ideology and no longer be a racist. We can change our ideology and our life path. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing that I'm getting at. These belief systems that we have, you know, it's like they have to be backed by reality. Yeah, even JS, you could even agree with me on this. All this has to be backed by some sort of reality. Like I can say that I hate white people and then exhibit this in reality and then change next week and say, no, I no longer subscribe to this belief system. I no longer identify this. I don't have these actions. But guess what happens? I can be vilified by videotape. That'll never live down. By a lynching, something else. I could serve time for something that I did 5 years ago and they found out that I was racist. But I no longer identify it. Guess what? Statute of limitations, I'm still getting locked up. Sucks for me because I was a racist then, which means I was
based off
then.
that, are you saying then it's not a self-identify?
It is.
It's whatever. Well, wait, it can't be. If you said you, I'm getting so confused here. This is why I'm confused. I could have swore earlier you said about the self-identity makes it the thing, but then now you're saying there's an actual objective to it.
There has to be,
right?
There has to be, like, a person can't say he's gay if he doesn't act out the thing. And JS even conceded to this. Like, okay, if a guy told you he was gay, but he never did a gay thing in his life, is he gay? And JS said, no, he's not gay. If I said I'm racist and I told everybody I was racist, all I would be is a less trustworthy person around the opposite race. But does that really make me a racist? I'd say no, because you haven't enacted this out. You haven't uttered racial epithets or slurs or anything like that. Yeah, you're not demonstrating this. You're just calling yourself the thing. But what I'm referring to is by, like, when I say the KKK, which included a membership, which included pamphlets by saying blackies should die and all this. And I go out and I do pickets and I do all this. And there's a massive amount of action behind this. And I participated in lynching. It's like, yeah, we can call that a racist, which if that exists and you could admit that person exists, racist people do exist.
Okay. Okay.
There has to be an action with an identifier. Like when I remember Speakeasy, when I said a fork, let's say forks were weapons until now that somebody used it as a utensil for food. It can change its purpose. But now it's like pieces of metal can be used.
Well, then kind of, yeah. Well, then you did kind of say what I said earlier. I said to you, if someone identifies as black and does what you would perceive as black actions, you would say, yes, they're black.
Yeah, we can say, yeah, they're black.
So then I can get to my question.
Yeah,
my actual question then is, then if a dude looks like a woman and acts like a woman, does that make him a woman?
I was fooled that he was a woman. Yeah.
You were fooled that people are racist.
Not that you were fooled. No.
I'm not fooled that people are
racist.
He's
not only showing you by visual, he's acting like a woman too. You said if there's action behind the self-identifier, it means that is the thing. So if they act like a woman but identify as a woman, does that make them a woman?
Well, we're conflating two different things, right? We can acknowledge, like, objective reality. I can be fooled for a very long time. Rachel Dolezal did this for a very long time. And now that she's been outed, we all know what objective reality looks like. And we know that, would you call Rachel Dolezal a black woman still?
Actually, I would, yeah.
I wouldn't call her a black woman.
Like
I think that she identifies as black.
Well, what if I hate Rachel
when they
Dolezal?
look through her genealogy and her race, we found out, no, she's really of white heritage and all this other stuff. And not only this, but she was so light, but somehow she fooled it by becoming like a light-skinned black person. But this kind of goes outside of my point that I was making the whole time. If you're a black person, objectively, like Nigerian black, like you're so black when you get out of the car, the oil light turns on black, and this person is being hated by white people and they lynch them and outwardly say, I hate you because you're black, and I'm going to put you on a tree because you're black, and I identify as a person that hates black. It's crazy to say that this person doesn't exist because they say I self-identify as this person. I did this heinous act. Therefore, the judge can just say it's just a crime of hate. It's not. You have to take the motive away from this
hate crime
by saying, even though the person says there's a motive of ascribing, I hate them because they're black. You mean the judge can't tell them that he did it out of hate for his race, even though he's admitting this in court? That would be crazy.
All right, we'll get to the chat Q&A here now. So chat, remember the super chats are gonna go first, and then I'll get to the chat Q&A. And if you want to bump yourself up when we get to the chat Q&A, just send it through a super chat, Cash App, or PayPal. So let's start this timer up here. First one that comes in, no question, just Dono Bar looks lonely. Cheers. Thank you, Wrath of Reason, for starting us off on the Dono Bar for the night. Thank you very much. Shazzy comes in with 10 pounds, says, no question, brain fog tonight. Just some love. Thank you very much, Shazzy. I appreciate that big time. Then we got $5 from Re-Examination Show, says, JS, if racism isn't real, is slavery also not real since no one is ontologically a slave?
Ontologically, we're all slaves to good or evil. But I would not say slavery is racist. Slavery is real. Somebody could be a slave, but yeah, ontologically we're all slaves. So I don't know. No.
So in Jim Crow South, when they said that black people were 3/5 of the law, that wasn't because they were black.
Listen, I gave more than one reason.
Black people too.
I gave more than one reason for why slavery isn't, or I'm sorry, why racism isn't real. I gave more than one reason. So you guys are taking one of the reasons I gave, and then you're applying it to everything. Just because I say one thing isn't real because of this reason doesn't mean everything is not real, because there's other reasons why it's not real.
Never once said everything. You're putting words in my mouth. I'm saying the 3/5 of a man law that they passed, and before the law was passed, it also in the same sentence said black.
If you said that when your wife asks, or when a husband asks a wife to get him a beer, that's slavery and she's now a slave. If you called that slavery and you called everything like that, anytime somebody does something for somebody else, if you called that all slavery, I would say slavery is not real.
I'm not talking about slavery. I'm talking about something completely different. The 3/5 of a man law that came out and said,
but I'm responding to the question.
3/5 of a man. How is that not right? And I'm giving you something specific.
I already answered that in the debate. I already answered why that's not racist in the debate.
Which was crazy.
And the Tulsa race riots weren't racist either. And the not hiring somebody because of their name wasn't racist either. If slavery has such a broad meaning that anything is slavery, then I'm going to start saying, yeah, slavery is not real. We're going to stop using that word because it's become, and especially if it's being, this is a whole nother part of the argument, is that this word is used to control people and everybody just believes in it. Everybody just goes along with it.
Hold on though. Does that control work in reality, and do people fight against this control?
Stop giving power to words that have no meaning.
Wait, hold on. Does this happen in reality?
What?
Do people concede this control because they believe it to be real?
No, they're being useful idiots.
Okay, you're going back to this broad term again by saying stupid and idiots.
So my whole argument. That's what you have to defeat.
Race can also be proven. If I hate a thing that I can prove,
and
that label should fit. Those people do exist. I can hate a.
You attempted to deal with it by saying racism is colorism, and then I rebuttal that, and I say, okay, well that's colorism. That means you hate colors.
That's racism and colorism are the same thing. But
that's not what race is. Race is not just skin color.
No, hold on. Can race be just a skin color?
If it can, but it's also a bunch of other things, then that's.
Do you think people at the whites only water fountain were saying, no, he has to fill other criteria, even though he looks black? Let's check his papers to see if there's other criteria, because he can't just be hung and strung up just because he's black, even though it says whites only. Do you think that ever happened in down south Selma?
I don't know.
Right. You can't even answer that. We all know the answer to this.
Do I know that people got killed for drinking out of the wrong water fountain? No, I don't know that. I think a lot of that's made up. I think a lot of that's revisionist history.
You don't think that ever happened in the past?
That they used to push an idea of racism, and you've believed into it.
You think it was an idea that wasn't acted out? Whites only restaurants, whites only water. You don't think that was enforced at all?
It was probably enforced.
Sure. Did you just say it probably was enforced?
Maybe.
This is insane. This is crazy. Hey, I'll move forward with the questions. Speak easy. We can move forward, man. I'm good.
All right. No worries. Next one comes in from Workademics for $2. Thank you very much. Does DV not exist because it's a form of violence?
Good question.
Yeah, see, this is going to be what all the questions are. Just because I said racism doesn't exist, now nothing exists. That's not the argument. That's part of the argument. and then it goes into other things. If domestic violence was so nondescript that it meant jerking off's domestic violence. Now you're going to jail for domestic violence. You know, if we had such a nondescript word for domestic violence, then I would say, yeah, domestic violence isn't real anymore. And actually, domestic violence is kind of stupid, by the way, because it is just, there's no reason to separate, especially in law. This is a way that, you know, it applies to like the divorce situation and women and being feminism. Yeah, domestic violence is a feminine concept. It's not real. It's just violence.
No. So that's the dumbest, JS, I don't mean any offense, but that's the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. I was in law enforcement. Whenever we got a DV call, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up because there was a distinction between domestic violence calls and other calls. Do you know why that is? Why we have to separate these two terms?
Because when somebody's doing violence in their house, it's the most dangerous call because they could have anything behind that door.
Right. And where did this crime happen? Was it domestic or non-domestic?
So domestic violence means violence that happens in a house.
Right. So do you think we should take away, so law enforcement personnel, we should just call it violence and we shouldn't say where it's located at?
Yeah, sure. If that's the specific definition of domestic violence, I'm fine with that.
You said we shouldn't have that. Now you're fine with it? This is crazy, bro.
Racism doesn't have a specific definition like that. Do you only listen to like half of my answers? Because I explained.
No, I did. I heard your various definitions, but I didn't take those definitions because that's not my definition. I gave you my definition, which was aligned with Charlie Kirk's definition, and I ran with that. But then you said that doesn't exist because the other ones don't exist.
Yes.
Would you still agree that that form of the racism exists?
If the definition of racism is hating someone for the color of their skin.
Yes, that's one definition.
And that's all it means.
Well, no, I didn't say
because
all.
If there's 1,000 definitions and they're all different and they all apply to culture, language, ethnicity, practices, skin color, habits, stereotypes, now there's no meaning to it anymore.
No, hold on. So if I ask somebody on the street, I wish I could.
And even if we say racism is just hate based off color, I disagree. I don't think it's based off of a color. I don't think anybody hates a color.
On the street, if I ask somebody out on the street and say, okay, and that black woman said, yeah, I am racist. And then I said, so you only hate a certain race? Yeah. And I was the white person asking this question. I said, who do you hate? Yeah, I hate white people. Yeah, they're all bad. And he said, 53% of blacks don't like white people. And she said, yeah, they should. I hate white people. Yeah, I am racist. What do we call this woman? If she identifies as a racist, says she hates only white people, what do we call her?
Well, I'd call her a dumb, evil woman.
Speak easy. I can move on. I'm good.
All right. So next question we have is actually from Workademics as well. Again, $2 says, question for both. Do you have a collectible room in your house?
I do.
It's kind of the room I'm in. I have some Lego sets over there. I got some Dragon Ball Z cards.
I do. I have a picture of St. George, or not St. George, but St. Moses the Black. 50 Cent is producing the movie, by the way, on this saint that's coming out. I also have like collections as far as like.
Let's go, Fifth.
Books. Like all these things. I have a prayer book. Like I have so much of this stuff, like Orthodox crosses hanging everywhere. I have a Byzantine cross flag behind me. I mean, my whole room is like.
I don't know if I would count holy books and crucifixes as collectibles.
Yeah, they're collectibles. I love Christ, man. I'm a collector for Christ. What can I tell you?
All right. Next one comes in from Cool Vic, W Martae, W Speakeasy. Thank you, Cool Vic, for the $10 super chat. Appreciate that big.
I don't get a W. Fuck you, Cool Vic.
Hey, Cool Vic's the EBT fund. We're a part of the EBT group right here. You don't identify as that. Racists don't exist, remember?
Trench comes in with a $10 super chat and says, is race realism like species realism? If this is the case, are pit bulls and black people are statistically dangerous enough to warrant me crossing the street?
Wait, warrant means allow me to cross the street. So it's actually, I think you're using your words wrong. warrant against me crossing the street. Yeah, that could probably make more sense. I think that's what he means. So yeah, if you're talking about a perceived reality by people who enact this reality and inflict damage on other people, you've even heard this. Like, well, we even see this in reality. If you look at blacks as a majority, if they move into a white neighborhood, guess what happens to property values? They go down. Statistically, I can show you this. In areas where there's a majority of black people, there's more graffiti than white people. But also, if you think about this, there's certain races that have certain proclivities as well, too. Statistically, a lot of statistics and stereotypes have a lot of truth behind them. I mean, me as a black person, I love fried chicken. Tell me one black person that doesn't like fried chicken. That might sound racist as hell to somebody else if I say this and I was white, but if I say this, it's cool because I'm black. But that person's perceived reality, if they act on this and they act in a violent nature, and this comes out in a form of statistics, and we can add this up and it's measurable, I would say yes. That's a perceived reality that comes to fruition in action and warrants people to move to white neighborhoods, which I would definitely do because I want to get away from crime and violence. How am I wrong for that?
All right.
I'd say, yeah, I hate lettuce and cucumber and celery and watermelon because they have no nutritional value. They're basically just water. So I'm a vegetableist. I'm a fruit and vegetableist. I'm a nutrition realist.
Yeah, I would respect that. I'd say, okay, cool. I hate celery. Water.
That's where you logically have to go and I think that's incoherent nonsense.
It's not incoherent nonsense because I'm actually a licensed nutritionist. So you graduate with a degree in dietetics.
Ooh, nutritionism.
Because the best job you can get is designing a high school cafeteria menu at best. It's like, you think about this, I can design my diet towards a certain sect of people who have a certain belief. If I believe in like a paleo diet, or I believe in a diet of just fish, right? Things like this, those people believe this. And I could prescribe this towards a certain belief system. Like Muslim people, I would never have a Muslim client, by the way. But if I did, I would never prescribe bacon in his diet. You can say that's nonsense, but he lives that reality. Therefore, definitionally, he is a Muslim by action and belief.
He hates bacon because he hates pigs.
Maybe, but I'm going to be eating
his
bacon
ideology
statement of Menar's opening statement next week, by the way. So stay tuned.
His ideology informs his beliefs and his preferences. Therefore, he doesn't eat pigs and bacon. He doesn't just hate them because they're pigs.
Yeah.
All right.
That may be true. It comes part and parcel, but it's still true. Doesn't prove that it's not false.
This question, this is it right here.
Right here.
Or this
Trench.
comment.
Trench for $5 says, I don't want to live in a world without racism.
That's what it all comes down to. That's why everybody's fighting so hard to defend this idea and this concept and this word instead of just saying it's not real. Stop giving it power. That's what Morgan Freeman said. He said, as soon as we stop talking about racism, it doesn't exist anymore.
That's crazy, because if you see people that only want to identify as something, we can't you ascribe to force doctrine, right? If somebody says something and they have a certain belief system and I break their jaw, they can no longer talk about this because their jaw's wired shut. That can happen. But unless we do that, that person's still going to have that belief no matter what, and they're going to exist. Matter of fact, if I tell you something, like, don't watch this right now, there's an accident up ahead, and human behavior, we could see this. I guarantee you, me or Speakeasy or you have been in driving up to a car accident. And there'll be signs saying, keep moving forward because there's an obstruction ahead. Don't look at this thing. There'll be signs, police officers saying, don't look, focus on the road. What do we all do? We look at this. When you tell people not to do the thing, they actually do the thing, and they're more inclined to do this thing that you tell them not to do.
Yeah, they tell us not to be racist, and they tell us not to be racist or you're evil, and everybody's a racist now.
So, you know the whole trope about
unless
the
you're
Catholic
black, you
schoolgirl?
can't be racist.
You know the whole trope about the Catholic schoolgirl? They always say that they're the most sinful people once they are out of the clutches of Catholicism. Why is that? Because this whole stigma that they put on, well, they were repressed. They were told not to do something, and then people do the opposite. This is human behavior. Look, but don't touch. Eve actually presented this. You can eat everything from the garden, but don't touch this tree. What did she do? This is human behavior that we fall prey to. And guess what? While I do believe that this ideology is stupid and led to the death of man, basically, that's real. This is a real thing. This really exists.
How come if a white person goes to a Walmart in a brown neighborhood and says, I hate brown people, and they shoot up all these brown people, that's a hate crime. But if a Crip shoots up a Blood because they hate the Bloods, that's not a hate crime.
It's because people change things from culture to culture. And here's the thing that I'll tell you right now. Even though, like, let's say if I go to Wisconsin,
not a consistently held idea. It's arbitrary. It's subjective.
So no,
it doesn't mean anything.
No, hold on real quick. So let's say everybody in Wisconsin doesn't believe in racial motivated crimes. They don't, but next door they do, right? Do you think that everybody else in the nation would change their tune and say it's not racially motivated, even though the person in court is saying this was motivated by race?
Sorry, I
he's
read
self-identifying, self-saying this. He's getting put to death, and he said, "Yeah, I hate that N-word." He's not what he says he is, even though he did what these people do. It's self-identifying by action, saying that
he believes he is that thing.
Subscribe to this hate.
Yeah, he believes he is that thing, but he's not actually that. That's my whole argument. Is just because you believe in a lie and you identify with that lie, it doesn't make it real.
He did the real thing. He actually killed somebody solely because of this thing. When I asked you what you call that, you'd say it's a stupid thing, bad thing.
We got a few more to get through here, so let's get to the next one. $5 from Reexamination Show says, Martae, JS is saying race is a fake concept mapped onto skin and phenotypes. Therefore, racism can't exist to him. Did you realize that at any point?
I actually said that. I actually debunked all this, like saying Christians, right? Christian is like atheists would say Christianity is a fake concept. It's mapped onto a group of people who just share belief, right? It's not real. Tell me how Christ isn't real, even though 500 people saw him and eyewitnesses and all this, and I can trace things back. So if I tell you that it's fake, but my brother goes ahead and kills somebody just because of a color, I can then tell him he doesn't kill people because of a color. That doesn't exist, even though it's an ideology mapped onto a color, because most black people are Crips. He doesn't do this because of a color, even though he tells me it's because he wore red that day. Make that make sense, bro. Constructs don't exist outside of our mind, but guess what brings them to fruition? Force, demonstration, examples. Yes. Otherwise, you wouldn't call the thing if it didn't do what the thing does.
Yeah, I could just say that I believe in that there's one human race, but I hate all people. I'm just antisocial. I don't like people, so I'm a racist.
No, that would be antisocial. Oh. There's a word for that already, bro.
Well, the word could also be racist. That's my point. There is a word for it. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
And it's not
that's
racist.
Going to be hard to try to convince people that you're not antisocial by being antisocial and just saying, I just hate the human race. That's just antisocial when you put everybody on.
And there is a word for tribalism, and there is a word for religious.
Yeah, that's xenophobia.
Well, no, xenophobia would be people from different nations. I'm talking about different tribes.
Tribalism. How is that not tribal?
Because you could be different tribes within the same nation. So it wouldn't be xenophobic. It'd be tribalist. This is the point, is all these words, these are all just words. They're not, what actually exists is the hate, the evil.
This is a wild premise. You're saying that the person can't self-identify as a PDF file. Oh yeah, that's right. You conceded that. I can identify as a PDF file. Identify as a PDF file.
File
you
is
don't
not
want
ism.
to be in the same room with them because they identify as this.
File is not an ism. An ism is a belief.
All right. So
yes, so is racism. But
let's get to the next one here. Premonition sends in $5. Thank you. Premonition says racism causes more hate than anything else on earth. It is real, whether you like it or not. You cannot wish it away.
Based.
Oh man,
that's true.
Yeah, and all the people in biblical times, they were all of the same race. They were all in the same nation. They all had the same ethnic background. They all had the same skin tone, and they hated each other. It had nothing to do with race. Racism is not real. You can argue for it and die on the hill of defending racism all you want, but
that's insane.
This is just it's liberal nonsense.
So the KKK aren't racist.
I'll make you guys more based by the end of this. We're gonna.
I like it. I like it. Jeremy sends in $5 to say, "Stop mixing up Tyrone I Smoke Rock Bigums for Clayton Bigsby."
Yeah, we were saying Tyrone Biggums. It's Clayton Bigsby.
Yeah, Clayton Bigsby. My bad. It's right. I did. I'll hold the L in this debate on that. It is
Jeremy handed them both an L. Like, take this.
Well, he influenced
hold
me. He influenced me, and that's why I said it wrong.
Yeah. Elder Lion sends in $5, says Mr. Matty Hair should have stuck with physical identifier, and this homeless guy would have lost this argument.
No, he did try to stick with colorism. He said we're going off of Charlie Kirk's definition, which is essentially colorism. It's just hating a color.
Yeah, but it was self-identification as well,
and
too.
Color is not race.
Hair, and I don't know who's the homeless guy.
But if race is self-identified, which it is, in studies, it's always self-identified, then it doesn't really have a meaning because I don't know what race I am.
No, it does have a meaning. So if she self-identifies this, and then she says why she self-identifies this, she actually gave you a meaning behind this. She said, I'm racist because the guy asked, well, why do you hate white people? She said, because I'm racist. If you put 2 and 2 together, she gave you the why I'm racist.
Yes, and a furry dresses like a unicorn, and they act like a unicorn, and they run around and go, and they look like but they're not a unicorn.
Hold on, that's a belief system, but we can see that they're not a unicorn.
An ism is a belief system.
If a person tells you that they're a PDF file, they don't look any different from anything else. Would you believe them?
Again, a murderer, I'm going to stop going to the PDF file example and just say murderer. A murderer is not an ism. It's not that you have a belief in murderism or you're a murderist. If I hate murderers, am I a murderism? Is that murderism and I'm a murderist? No, that's dumb. Murder is a thing. It's not an ism.
He's a murderer. He's a murderer. There's a word for that. Matter of fact, Speakeasy, I'll ask you a question. Who's the guy that played Deadpool? What was his name in the comics?
Shoot, what was his name? I can't remember.
He had a name in the comics. There was a guy put on trial recently. It's funny.
Yeah, he had the same name.
Yeah,
he identified as a murderer and had a smug look in court.
Wade Wilson.
Wade Wilson.
There you go.
Wade Wilson was in court. It's funny that this guy was a killer, and he was in court, identified as a murderer, and said, "I am a murderer," and had the actions behind this. Is he not a murderer?
He was really a murderer.
So the guy's really a racist because he hangs people, in my hypothetical I brought up, by nooses. He hates the color, only kills people with that color. He's a racist.
So racism is a metaphysical, transcendental concept that's real and it exists.
It has to be aligned with action.
Okay.
All right. Next question that comes in is from Trench. Says, is culture bound to race?
I have no idea. No, it's just color.
No, I don't. So it can be perceived mostly bound to race because my JS, I'm pretty sure you did some like research on my profile and said, let me check out this profile stuff right here. Martae says that whites should get reparations from blacks. Martae battles angry panel of blacks. You're going to see all this shit on there. It's because I hate black culture in 2026. But if you ask anybody, like predominantly who's associated with black culture, they're going to say blacks. I don't even have to say black. I'm just going to say, what's a certain culture that we don't like? They're either going to tell you Muslims or blacks. They're going to tell you a belief system or a race. It's going to be one or the other, but they're going to specify with a certain label and a descriptor. How are they wrong with these descriptors?
And I see what you're doing.
Everybody would agree with them.
I see what you're doing on your channel, and I see, you're arguing whites are actually the most oppressed people. Whites deserve reparations from blacks.
You mean the debates I won?
Yeah, I see what you're doing, and it's almost based.
How is it almost based?
Because it'd be more based if you just said there's no such thing as racism. We don't need you to do that.
So DEI, so I would say, hey, counterpoints, DEI isn't racist towards white people. How would I be wrong?
What white people need you to do is stop arguing that white people are oppressed and stop arguing that white people deserve reparations.
So
and
don't get rid of
argue
DEI.
that there's no such thing as racism.
DEI, right? You want to do you don't want to do it away with DEI, right?
Because you're acknowledging that racism is real, which means I'm a racist.
Hold on. Can you answer a question? Should we do away with DEI or keep it?
Get rid of it.
Why is it bad?
Because it helps out white women too much.
So you go to it's specifically designed for a certain race.
Well, like affirmative action and DEI policies help white women more than any other group.
All these ideologies which are stupid exist in reality and are enforced in a system which makes them real.
Yeah, I would say those are not racist policies. Those are policies meant to those are policies meant to destabilize a country, and they're effective.
Well, hold on.
And
on its face, before we talk about this destabilization, because you skipped a few steps, you said it's helping a certain race. That already concedes everything that I was saying already.
It helps black women, it helps white women, it helps black men, but specifically the most, it helps.
So you're mentioning colors.
White women are the main benefactors of DEI and affirmative action.
Do white people benefit from DEI?
So it's not a racist
white
thing.
men. Do white straight men benefit from DEI?
Do white straight men benefit from DEI?
Is that racist towards white people? DEI, white males.
Yeah. So is that sexist, racist, homophobic? Which one is it?
Is that racist towards white males in particular?
No. It's a way to destabilize.
That's crazy.
All right, let's get to the next one here. $10 comes in from Verna
so it's
Desar.
sexist.
When interacting with
black males are put in front of white men all the time. It's not sexist.
All right, let's get to this next one. Let's get to this next one. When interacting with people in everyday life, is it better to just say hi or refer to them by their race? And when describing a person to authorities, when is it not necessary to mention skin color?
Right.
Well, the first question I think is for you. When I meet somebody, I don't refer to them by their race. But when I'm talking to the cops,
authorities. So
when,
there was a person when I give a descriptor, do I omit the race?
So is this question you think it's for me or for you?
I think the last
like
one
the
is for
first
you.
part is for you and the second part is for me, right?
I'll even answer both.
Okay.
You answer both and I'll answer both. How about that?
Okay, well, I answered the first one. It's never appropriate to walk up to the person and say, "Hi, Blackie." We don't do that. And when describing a person to authorities, when is it not necessary to mention their skin color? I'll tell you, when their skin is totally covered by clothing. So if they have a blue mask and a blue hoodie and blue sweatpants, and they say, "Well, what race is he?" I'm going to say, "I don't know. He's blue. He's blue race."
So you're lying to them. You're not talking about a race. You're talking about colors and fabrics.
But you say race is just color.
Nope. So when I was in law enforcement, they asked if you look at the paper that we write down, because we have like field notes that we write.
I'm not going to tell him his ethnic background.
There's race.
He's wearing all blue. I don't know what race he is. He's wearing.
So you would not write out the part of the suspect. You don't think that would help search as a descriptor for a suspect that we're looking for by filling in the race?
Yeah,
you would never do that.
He said, if I'm describing a person to the authorities, when is it not necessary to mention skin color? The time when it's not necessary to mention skin color is when I don't know their skin color because I couldn't see it. They were covered by clothing. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, I had to hear that. That makes sense. I'll even...
Yeah, so I would say their physical attributes, here's what they're wearing. Here's about how tall they are. Well, is that heightism now? Because I said how tall they are?
How often does it happen where we don't see anybody's skin tone?
Whenever they're fully clothed. If somebody's wearing hoodies.
How often do you think that is? Not whenever. That's obscure.
A lot of times when people are doing crimes, they're going to cover up all of their identifying thing. They're going to have gloves, hoodie, a sweater, and a mask and sunglasses on.
You don't think people are going to see the arms, the arm color, or anything like that? You don't think any of this should be included in a field report?
If you can see it.
Okay, so because not all of them are clothed all the time, actually, that's extremely rare, because when people make hasty decisions like bank heists and things like this, the only reason why they'll cover up like that is because they actually don't want to be identified by what? They're excluding their race because they don't want the race to be included. This proves my point, actually, because they're hiding the fact that there's a descriptor that's also going to help easily identify them. Yeah. If they're covering up their race, that means that they don't want to be identified by a race because they're going to be judged by a race, because they're going to use this in the search indicator protocols or whatever they're going to use.
Yeah, and
they're
I don't think
from that. They don't want race to be used against them. That's why.
But I don't think that's racist. If I say I saw a black guy doing a crime and then the cops go start questioning black guys, that's not racist.
No, I would agree with that. That's not racist. But if we saw a black person rob somebody and you said, hey, and clearly, like, let's say the guy had a mask, but you saw that he was black, like you saw his arms and everything, and the police say, well, all right, was he a white male? Was he a black male? These are normative, by the way, normative questions. They're going to ask you for a description, and you knew he was black. would you say that he was black? And he talked with slang jargon.
Yeah.
Would you say it was a black male that robbed me?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's get on to the next one. We're at the end of the time here, so we only got a few more though. Cool Vic sends in $5 to say, JS, W's don't actually exist. They're used to control people and pit people against each other. Don't fall for it. I like it.
W's do exist, and I get them whether they're given or not.
Shit. I like it. I like it. Wicked Wally says for $5. Thank you, Wicked Wally. Says it's okay, JS. You win either way since I can't give Martae a W because of my racism.
Right. Right.
Shit. Fuck. Source known for $5 says finally a point for JS. He doesn't hate the color red. I like it. Thank you.
Blue is actually my favorite color, but I'll still wear a Trump hat.
There we go. $5 from Trench says, chat, it's with great sorrow that I inform you that JS has had all the racisms DEI'd out of him by the secular public school witches.
Crazy. Shout out to Trench Deacon.
Yeah, Trench has got a debate coming up soon, actually. But that right there is going to wrap up the 30-minute Q&A. First off, I want to give a huge thank you to everyone in the live chat for all the questions, engagement, support. Like I said, the support really is what allows me to keep bringing you these debates, and the entire Swords of Reason experience is all because of you guys, and I appreciate every single one of you. And of course, a huge thank you to another big reason for the Sword of Reason experience, the debaters of tonight, for stepping into the arena, sharpening their ideas in front of all of us. Okay, give them both a sub for that. Okay, are you both still staying for the after panel?
I got like 15-20 minutes.
I gotta give a quick shout out to my boy Nightbot in the chat. He's not racist because he always is consistent with people stinking or not stinking. That guy is extremely big.
Yeah,
Nightbot is consistent.
Neutral, yeah. Okay, so what's going to happen next then is we're going to roll the debate outro song and video. It'll run for about 4 minutes. Perfect time. Hit the washroom, grab a drink, stretch your legs, do whatever you need to do before the Chaos and Chill panel begins. All right, during that outro, I'm going to drop the link in the chat for anyone who wants to join the open panel, test your ideas, continue the conversation on tonight's topic. Anyone is welcome to hop in. Just come ready to think and debate, and if you're going to try to come and spurg and troll over people and bring your personal dramas, you're just going to get muted and then most likely booted really quickly. So while you're ahead with that idea, just quit it, okay? And before we run the outro, one last reminder, make sure you subscribe to both the debaters. Their links are in the description. And if you're enjoying the debates, hit the subscribe to the Speakeasy channel as well, so you don't miss any of the upcoming Swords of Reason battles we have here Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. This is where logic meets passion. All right, we're gonna roll the outro, and I'll see you all in a few minutes for the Chaos and Chill panel.
Step into the circle where the echoes collide. Truth through the static, no place to hide. Iron tongue, sharpened fire in our breath. We dance with conviction on the edge of death. Your words are bullets, mine are storms. Ideas forged where lightning forms. No We're just raw collision. We clash our swords of reason. Facts burn brighter than a prophet's flame. Egos crumble, but the truth remains. Every scar, a mark of thought's crusade. In the battlefield of minds we've made. Speak your truth, but bear the cost. Every claim can still get lost in the war of voice and vision. Feel the friction. We clash our swords of reason. No silence left for indecision. Ideas break with loud precision. We clash our swords of reason. Strike me with logic, I'll bleed my proof. We cut through chaos to carve out truth. Let the sparks fly, let the echo scream. This is no debate, it's a metal dream. We clash our swords of reason. In the storm of thought's collision. Forged in fire, pure precision. We clash our swords of reason.
Hey, thank you for the super chat. On my end, the super chats that came through, I didn't react to them during, but I saw that I did get some. Now I don't know where they are. Oh, it's not showing me. Wagira, the memberships. You can do a poll if you want, easy, and then I mean you can leave it up after I leave, but I don't really care about the polls. I know Martae likes the polls, but I'm gonna declare victory regardless. So. No. No, I'm saying that that's backwards. I'm saying that the hating the color is the post hoc justification for what they really hate. They don't actually hate the color. Yeah. Yes, but you think people don't equally hate criminals regardless of who does the crime? They hate the group of black people because they think black people do the most crime. And maybe they do. That's just an example. That's just an example. No, he's making a good point. That's another. Okay. Well, hold on. Let me answer. He's asked. Let me answer his question real quick. So I would say they do hate crime, but they've got this idea in their head that black people do the most crime. I hate crime, therefore I hate black people because they do the most of the crime. They're still going to hate a white person who does the crime, but they're going to justify their hate for all black people based off of the crime. I'm not sure what that means, but yes. Yeah. And so their hate is indeterminate. Their hate isn't based off of an individual. It's based off of a group because they believe. So like when Trench brought up because annoying. Let's say I hate people who talk in movie theaters. And every time I go to the movie theaters, it's a black person talking in the movie theater. Now I say I hate black people. Why do you hate black people? Well, you hate black people because they're always talking in the movie theater. Because it doesn't make sense. You just said it yourself. Yeah, it's a category error. Yeah, I've never met anybody that just says, I hate the color black, therefore I hate black people. That would be stupid because black people aren't even actually black and white people aren't even actually white. Right. So it's not colorism. Yes, it's a spiritual thing. It's ontological. It's not physical. It's a category error to say that my hatred is because of this physical thing. My hatred is because of some ontological thing, your ideas, your worldview, the way you act, the things you do, the habits you have, which come from ideas. That doesn't come from your skin color. It doesn't come from the place geographically on the earth where you were born. It comes from something deeper than that. And I want to get to the root instead of calling it what it's not. I don't know. It could start with your parents. It could start with your friend group. It's your socialization, right? Slavery is usually about profit. It's not about skin color. When white people started doing it, then that's when it became racist. No, it is because this is when Google where does the idea of racism come from? It's going to tell you the late 1500s and the early 1600s when white Christians were using the Bible to justify slavery and getting involved in the transatlantic slave trade. That's bullshit. So if you believe in racism, this is what I would too. And if you believe in racism, you should not be contesting that history because that's the origin of that belief that you have. I would say that hate towards like pedophiles is more intense than racial hate. Because they're harder to find. You can't just see it outwardly on their skin color. If pedophiles walked around with blue skin, we would be killing all the blue skin people, but that wouldn't be racist. Boom! Bomb drop. That's the one. I'm gonna write that down. They can't find them. They don't know where they are. Okay. No, I said if they were blue, I said if they had blue skin, if they had blue skin so that you could identify them, and so we start going after all the blue skin people, are we racist? Is that racist? Or but you're not going after them because of their skin color. You're going after them because of what they do and what they believe, and that's what you hate. And also that assumes that all blue skin people are that, but not all of them are. Then we have different definitions of existence. Go ahead, premonition. I don't even believe in Neanderthals, so. Yeah, and I kind of disagree with everything you said, premonition. Sorry, but I don't think race was the root of any of that hate or any of that evil. It's a battle between good and evil. It's not a battle between black and white and yellow and brown. Huh? Yeah. You gotta go quick because I gotta go in like 7 minutes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I gave a paradigm for a typology of hate, and he never dealt with my paradigm. He never defeated my paradigm. He just said, no, race is real because people say they're racist. Oh, on my YouTube, I do. Shoot.
There shouldn't be like criminal or charges with hate involved. All violent crimes, especially, have a degree of hate sewn into the mix.
Yeah, that's a whole thing we didn't really get too much into, but this leads to ideas like hate speech and hate crimes.
There shouldn't be the criminal multiplier. We can acknowledge that racism is real, that race is real, that race can transcend even skin color. There's culture, and
culture is race.
Yeah, no, you're right.
try to argue against
ethnicity, culture, language,
being a race, and see how that works
phenotypes,
out for you.
nationality,
That is a
religion.
unique thing where even the Bible treats Jews different than any other lineage. You look at
God said Jews.
That's a Protestant. That's a Protestant.
Well, God
worldview.
said Jews were His chosen people, and Jews were considered.
So you're not going to be able to use that against me. Number one, I'm an amillennial. So
Was God
they were simply
racist?
chosen for the holy royal priesthood
then
and the
explain
bloodline
Romans
to
11
Jesus.
through 21.
I just did.
No,
They were a vehicle. They were a vehicle to birth the Messiah.
If you guys will concede that God was racist when He said Jews are His chosen race of people, then I'll say, okay, you win the debate. Racism's real. God's a
chosen
racist.
for what though? There's a chosen for what?
Hold on.
And that purpose has been fulfilled.
This is chosen people. He was being kind of racist when he did that.
Because there's a whole New Testament. It's.
I have a question for re-examination. Can I ask you a question?
I can read Romans 11 for you if you want, but go ahead.
Go for it.
So, have you ever seen these Hebrew Israelites?
Yeah, they're nuts.
So if they espouse something and they say that a certain group won't make it into heaven and they say a certain group is lesser than, would you classify their belief system as a racist ideal?
Oh,
no, because I seen a white Hebrew Israelite.
With these people espousing this racist ideal and they'd want to be prevalent, they're literally on soapboxes and street boxes or boxes in New York and trying to spread and propagate this idea. Do you think that this could come about in some kind of action, meaning we're rejecting certain communities and telling people to buy onto this? Do you think that this could come about in some form of actions, like maybe they have a business that they're rejecting a certain race from and things like this? What would you call that?
One of the main Hebrew Israelites is a white guy.
I would call them blacks.
They're extremely racist, which is crazy.
No, one of the main.
We just call them blacks.
One of the
Israelites are not racist towards
one
white
of the
people.
main Hebrew Israelites is a white guy. He
up
presents
bullshit.
as white. His pheno.
He thinks he pretends like he's a black guy. He talks like a black guy.
But is he? And then they say they say, well, it goes off of the mother. Or it goes off of the father. So now it's genetic. It's genetic
all because
lineage.
Of a race of people. And they espouse this ideal and want you to buy on top to this
Black
BS.
Hebrew Israelites are an example of racial trauma, trying to be something you're not, so you're anything other than black.
Dude, if aliens came to take over Earth, we'd call it an alien race. And if I hated that, I'm racist. Like,
it wouldn't be human. The whole
I know. I know. So race doesn't even apply to humans.
What's a shibboleth
so it doesn't
for
apply
then?
to this debate.
Hold on.
No, that's my point. Is that it's incoherent.
Hold on. What's a shibboleth
If I
for?
found a new dog,
It doesn't stand up to scrutiny. I know it's insane. That's my point.
What a shibboleth is
No,
for.
it's a horrible point. You can't use a species that's not human in the context
point,
of discussing racism.
I'm saying race and racism are incoherent. There's no. It doesn't stand up to scrutiny.
To make that point.
Yeah, those are species.
I can say if race is genetic.
Really?
And you share genetics with a banana. If you don't like bananas, you're racist.
Are you an evolutionist?
No,
I'm
saying this doesn't stand up to scrutiny.
Okay.
Whether or not
genetic similarities is merely situational if you're not an evolutionist. So
I'm not an evolutionist, but science says that we share.
You agree that similar
science says we share 60% of our DNA with bananas, and if race
relationship.
Oh my God, try to follow. Science says that we share 60% of our DNA with bananas.
Irrelevant.
And if race relates to genetics and lineages, then if I hate bananas, I could be racist.
I don't have a banana in my lineage. My family tree is not a banana tree. It's totally out of whack.
You're missing the point. It doesn't matter if you do or don't. If science says that you share 50% of your genetics with a banana, that's premise one. Premise two, race is based off genetics. Conclusion, you could be racist to a banana.
It's an unsound argument.
No.
That is wackadoo.
That is wackadoo.
It's sound and valid. You're right. It's unsound because that's my point, is that it is unsound because it doesn't make sense. It's a valid argument, but it's not sound because race is nonsense. It doesn't.
No, it's not sound. JS, would you call your cousin a banana?
It's an internal critique. I'm saying that if you believe in racism.
No. Can you answer the question? Would you call your cousin a banana? Even though it's an internal critique, would you do this?
No, that would be stupid.
He's critiquing. Wait. He's critiquing the idea of race.
Yes.
You cannot take that. You cannot take that against him.
So I'm saying that the idea of race is stupid because of what you just said. That's what you just said. Calling my cousin a banana is stupid.
It's like re-examination. Whenever he talks about the Bible and he's wrong because the only thing he says about the Bible is that I believe it because I believe it. Okay, the whole point
This
is
a side
the
shot.
whole point.
Hey,
The
JS,
whole point.
what's a shibboleth?
I don't know.
The whole
what a
point
shibboleth
of
is?
what he's the whole point of what he's trying to say.
That were at war. One
I
group
don't-
could pronounce it "se," but the other one couldn't. Or no, wait, it's backwards.
Thank
they
you,
could
Rev.
pronounce it "sh,"
Thank you,
but
Rev.
they can pronounce it "st."
I don't know, but I gotta go.
So
I
it's
gotta
basically
go.
a linguistic litmus test between two groups. So.
All right, JS said he's gotta go. So
there's a point to that.
JS, one sec, guys, one sec. JS said he's gotta go. So JS, tell everybody where they can find it quick.
JS Urban Adventures, Monday nights, the Dreaded Conservative show is news and current events and all that stuff. Friday and Saturday nights, I stream all night long. I do panels. I go on panels. We review stuff. We react to stuff. We play games. All sorts of fun stuff on Friday and Saturday night, fight reviews. And then in the morning time when I get home from work, sometimes we'll do a short Bible study stream or a debate prep stream. So, but always Monday nights, Friday nights, and Saturday nights, I'm always there. So check it out.
Let's go. Let's go.
Take care,
Good
JS.
job tonight. Thank you for
Good
coming.
to see you, man. It's been a pleasure debating you.
Yeah.
No, by the way, I take nothing personal from this debate.
Yeah.
This was actually fun and edifying.
Same here.
And
Yeah,
I know
can
nobody's
see you on
gonna
the
agree.
same side, believe it or not. So,
I'm saying a crazy idea here. I get it. Most people aren't gonna, but
so
you know
you're
that.
you're self-admittedly.
Don't
knowing
worry,
that you're
JS. I just let the
emotionally
chat
crazy.
know that because you didn't have much time, that I'm going to continue your argument for you when you leave because
All right.
I think I've come to understand it pretty well, and I think I might actually agree with it.
All right. Nice. All right. Cool. Well, thank you guys. God bless. Thank you, Easy. Thank you, Martae. This was fun, and
Yeah.
I'll catch you
God
later.
bless, JS.
See ya.
JS is one of the good ones.
Yeah, that was good, Fade. You're
All right, stream. I gotta go. Thank you guys for hanging out. Let me set up a quick raid over to there. Sorry I didn't get to read chat. Discord VC still going. Shoot for the wreck. Yeah, we've been going forever. Sorry I had them muted for a little while. I really got to hurry up. I'm like 7 minutes later than I need to be. Stream settings, edit, customization, redirect, send you over to Easy's channel. All right. God bless, guys. I got to get to work. I will be here tomorrow morning and we can finish up Psalms. We need to finish the book of Psalms. So God bless, guys. Have a good one. I'm out. Peace. And thank you for all the super chats and all the support, everybody. See ya.